Hi everyone, this is ThuggzBunney here with episode 3 of the Down the Irons podcast. I'm joined here as always by my co-host RaNDiM. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's good?
Not much, not much. Uh, Wait, that doesn't make sense. What's good? Everything's good. That's the correct response. Um, and
Yes.
we also have um, what's good? Yes. um, we're
Not
also
much.
okay. We have a special guest, the most special, possibly the best guest we will ever have, possibly the best player
Oh, stop.
to ever play Uncharted 2. Um, Monster1215, the man himself. What's up?
Hello, everyone.
Hi. thanks for thanks for joining us. It
Of
was it,
course. Thank you
it
for having me.
Of course, it was inevitable as long as you were willing. There's
Yes.
no question about it.
You'd be on there. Even if you weren't willing. You drag your head
You just
we,
forced me to record it.
Yes.
we would just sneak record and be like, "Hey, you want to chat in VC?" And just hit record and
Yeah.
Yeah.
stealth
Well, like we
episode.
were doing before we even started recording, I'm just going on and on about random stuff. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
save it,
This is
save it.
content. This is content.
Yes, yeah. So
But
just
no,
no, go
it's
ahead.
great to be here, man. Like, I appreciate you inviting me on.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah, brother. Of
appreciate you
course.
being here. Um, So yeah, just real quick update for anyone who somehow has missed it, or if you're just finding out about Uncharted Reloaded, or don't know about it at all. The Uncharted Reloaded project is reviving the Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 servers. So still in beta, but playable right now if you get whitelisted in. So as always for these videos, there will be a link in the description to the Uncharted Reloaded Discord. You can go there and all the details for how to get whitelisted and to be able to play these games again will be in there in their Discord. Um, so yeah, and I guess a kind of second part to that is that for people who are already in the Discord server, actually, fuck it, I'll say it. There's a pretty big patch today, buffing the FAL, restoring the rate of fire to the 1.04, um, to what it was in 1.04, and it's super fun. I just tested it at least. Um, it's great. There's it's the foul is back. The foul is so back.
Let's go. Couldn't be more hype.
Yeah, I was debating if I should actually say that because like by the time we release this, everyone should probably already know. But I don't know.
Yeah,
Not
but
everyone is
fuck it.
who
Why
is
not?
whitelisted. Not everyone who's
Yeah,
whitelisted is
yeah.
actually playing every day. Like some people, it's like a once or twice a week thing. So
Right.
like maybe if you
That's
haven't
true.
if you haven't
Hmm.
heard by now, by the time this drops, the foul is back. It's it's great. It's super fun. Um, so yeah, uh, get in the game and test it for yourself. It's great. Um, but that's pretty much it for announcements. So keep it short and sweet. Um, so our main topic for today is going to be we're actually going to be running down our top 10 teams of all time for Uncharted 2. But just before we get into that, Monster had a little bit of a response and something he wanted to add on to our episode 2 map tier list video. So go ahead with your spicy hot takes.
What's your take?
So, listening to the podcast, I agreed with a lot of the things that you guys are saying. Like, obviously, Temple and Plaza, they're like the epitome
Deep.
of
Yeah,
Uncharted 2. Like, when you think of Uncharted 2, that's Uncharted 2, right?
definitely.
But then there's this third map that everyone talks about,
Hmm.
and it's the
The
village.
power trio. Yes.
That it is the village. And Wesley had a pretty hot take about how, that map is not the greatest, and I 100% agree with him. That map is dog shit. It's
Damn.
I don't like anything about it. Like every time
Sour
I've
A
played it,
clapping somewhere.
every time I've played it, it's just if there was a stat for how many times you can get shot in the back in a map, like Village would just outrank them all.
I agree
It's
with that. I agree with
Ice Cave has entered the chat.
that. True. But
okay, but that's a good argument. But
Village has played more, so I think Village would have the edge.
right, but
Yeah.
also like if you were to play a clan battle on either of those maps, it is much easier to maintain control on that smaller ice cave than Village because Village is a lot more vast, I believe,
Yeah,
and
it's
the
definitely bigger.
spawn locations.
Mhm.
I don't know if they base it off of like proximity to the other team or your team or however
Yeah.
they formulated it for Village, but it's just horrible
Yeah.
because you can literally be standing at the top of the hill,
Mhm.
have somebody on desert, somebody at hammer, someone at sniper, and they'll spawn at M4 right in front of you.
Mhm.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so you're literally spawning behind enemy lines almost constantly, which some will argue, oh, that's a good thing, but no, it
No, it's
sucks.
not.
It
Kind
sucks,
of
and
bad
it sucks.
design. Like,
Yeah, it sucks for both teams
I mean,
because
it,
not only like could you spawn and shoot someone in the back, but you could also be getting spawn trapped and just getting an extra death for no reason.
right. I definitely agree. The spawns are absolutely atrocious. Fixing those would make the map better for sure, but I mean, we're also saying that about half the maps. So
Well,
Uncharted 2
yeah, I
spawns
mean,
suck.
2009, like this game
Yeah,
came out, like,
right.
and it wasn't anticipated. I believe not to be as big as it had become.
I agree.
Um, especially with the community of players that it had.
yeah,
Like it was probably
Yep.
just tacked on.
at
It
least
was just
for
like, oh, here's a multiplayer for the game.
competitive scene specifically, I don't think they had any anticipation of there being
Yeah,
like a real like
Right.
hardcore
Mhm.
scene.
exactly. But yeah, that's just where I stand on it. Like I was like in my car clapping, listening to Wesley shit on this map, and I was like, thank you, because like it's not talked about enough. Everybody's like,
Yeah,
oh,
no, that's
village,
fair.
village, village. I'm like, no, this map is horrible.
We really need to talk about Fort.
Yeah.
Fort needs to be talked about more because Fort is way worse than Village now.
Oh, I
Fuck the
also
Fort.
agree with that.
All right, bet.
Like nobody wants to sit for 20 minutes and then end a game like 12-8. Like
Literally, bro.
1337 has
Literally.
entered the chat.
well,
Facts,
so
man.
that's another point because they have some frontline guys who can take some damage, and
Yeah.
like between Wesker and Ginamax and Sano, like Sano's really good, man. He doesn't get enough credit for being as good as he is, but
I agree.
uh, those three guys, man, they can take some bullets, and Wesker's really good with power weapons too. So like they flip the map constantly. I
Yeah.
know when we played them in the final random, like we were scared that was going to be like the one match that we were going to drop. Like,
Yeah, we were gonna get fucked. Yeah, definitely. I remember that.
yeah. So I mean, we planned for that though and secured the win, but
Right.
yeah, Fort ass.
I have like
For sure.
two small like kind of question comment things, and then we'll get into the teams list.
Okay.
Okay.
One, my impression, and like tell me if I'm crazy here. I think a lot of people would have Village like S tier, right?
Not
Do you
all,
not think
but
so?
I would say it's
I,
probably like 70-30.
yeah, I agree with that.
Mhm.
I think more people than not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have
Or else
it,
it wouldn't be played as often as it is.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I and also the advantage of the sides. I got to go back to how shit this map is, but the bottom hill hero spawn awful. Like you're fighting uphill the entire time. Like what is
Right.
that? So
But
in
I guess that's one benefit of the shitty spawns, though, is you can easily flip them. But yeah, it's still bad
Yeah.
design at the
It's
start.
like it's
for sure.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a problem that addresses another problem.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, so like thugs when we were doing tournaments back in like 2014, 15, whatever, we had a good formula to counteract that because like obviously like you rotate hosts, you get to pick side kind of thing. So like you get to choose whether you're hero or villain depending on who's hosting and whatever order the maps were. So that could kind of help
hmm
because obviously everyone's choosing village or villains for village. but I don't know. The map still just sucks.
Yeah, no, I get that. It was just my impression was that like honestly, I was thinking I would have like a hot take on Village, like putting it A tier instead of S tier, because it just seems like a lot of people like really like it. Like it's I guess this is my like second question is would you agree that it's like the best of the like small fast paced maps? Like do you think everything above it is either slow or like kind of medium like Temple, Plaza?
Well, so I think Temple and Plaza with the size of the maps, like Temple is, in my opinion, the perfect map, but
Mhm.
and Plaza is like a very close second.
Mm-hmm.
But with Village being smaller, like I said, it's forcing spawns behind, and it's more close quarter like confrontations, especially like the blind fire melees in the riot shield room, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely by the GAU. And but I out of the smaller maps, it probably is the best, but that's not saying
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
much.
That's
I,
fair.
I
Yeah.
would rate Village a B tier just
Okay.
because of just like the nostalgia of it. Everyone plays it. Everyone does like it. I hate it, but I'm just one person.
Right.
Um, I think the over saturation of power weapons is another thing.
Mm.
Like if
Okay.
you hold tree, like you basically control all the power weapons. Like you get a RPG once the tank comes through, but besides that, what do you really have?
Right.
A desert? Like
Yeah. Hey, don't sleep on
GAU.
the GAU, man. Don't sleep on the GAU.
if anyone can successfully use that like throughout the map. The only person I've ever seen do it, which is one of my like best friends on Uncharted 2, is Glock.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When we would hold Plaza, he would just stand behind the desert holding the GAU, and
What the
anytime
fuck?
someone pushed, he
Yeah.
would just melt them.
I've
That's
seen
so funny.
Yeah,
I know Dai has used Hellblazer in a few matches for Get Positive. Um
Right. That's funny.
yeah. um but yeah, the Village hot take I don't think as spicy as as I thought cuz as you certainly have company in Wizzy and Sour A and I'm sure there are many others.
hmm
But yeah, I feel like a lot of like map ranking is gonna come down to a kind of split where like some people think that being able to spawn trap and spawn control is a problem and the slow down potential of Temple and Plaza is an inherent problem and like Sanctuary, Village, Ice Cave is kind of if the spawns were better, that's like the ideal way that Uncharted 2 like should be played. Like that's what what
Right.
the what the goal should have been or was for Naughty Dog. Um,
Yeah.
hmm
but yeah, I think in terms of competitive and actually like putting teamwork to the test and putting skill sets to a test, I feel like Temple and Plaza like function best for that as a actual uh, yeah test of that and not just pure improv and a little bit of spawn luck and yeah.
yeah. I mean, we definitely. I know with Odyssey and TDT that we formulated ways to like have a strategy for
Mm-hmm.
playing Village where
Definitely.
we could control 90% of the map and force them to spawn where we want them to. Like that was
Yeah.
one of the big focuses that we had because, I mean, the game's been out forever. We know the spawns, we know how to force them to spawn in certain areas.
Right.
But even given that, man, it just sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's fair. If anybody hates on Village, I can totally understand why. I don't mind it as much as everybody else or the people that don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's it for that. So we can just get into the teams list and okay. So um, yeah, I was saying earlier that I have so much trouble with like the bottom kind of section of the list. So really anything from like 10 to 15 could be changed, and like honestly, ask me tomorrow and it might change.
I
But
agree with that.
I'm gonna be a little bit biased because I'm friends with these guys. I really liked playing with them, and I played for them for a short time. GSR. What do you guys think about
Interesting.
GSR?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just get it started because yeah, I played with them for a little bit, and I feel like especially after honestly everything like 2013 onwards was just using TDT as a measuring stick and like how close can we get and how well
Right.
can we compete, and the best games I ever had against TDT were with those guys as my teammates. I think their communication was fantastic. Um, yeah, not a. I feel like there's not a bad player on the team, and didn't do a whole lot in tournaments, but also I don't think participated in much as GSR and as a
Right.
consistent like lineup that I played with, and but yeah,
They
I
also kind of changed their name to AIE at one point, right? Wasn't that what they were in Nostalgia?
Yeah, I believe
that might be
so.
true.
That's what I was thinking too, because that's like blah blah and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Naruto boy.
Inflated,
Yeah.
Naruto
inflated. Yeah,
Boy,
yeah.
Um.
Okay,
Sin's Titan. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah.
okay.
So yeah, GSR is a respectable take. I don't have them on my list at all, mainly because I kind of forgot about them. um,
I mean,
but
if I'm
I
being,
could definitely put them as an honorable mention. Yeah, they were solid. They always put up a good fight for the most part.
oh yeah, if I'm being transparent, like I honestly forgot that was a team as well.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a
but
lot.
you
There's a
know,
lot of teams.
recalling,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
there were so many teams.
There might
there's a
not
lot
be
of
a lot of
short-lived teams
great
that were very
teams.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I think they were very good. I mean, as you said, like we played against each other, and I just remember like it was pretty close matches. I think even one time, I think it was during random your tournament, because you remember when Zany was a team, but it was basically just TDT,
Yeah,
but we played
yeah,
the
yeah.
objective tournament.
Uh-huh.
I was on Unlimited 3. That's the
I
account
remember.
I was playing
I
on.
was there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we played against them, and I think we tied Trainwreck.
Oh wow. Okay. That's
Which I
respectable.
mean, yeah, our team was it was me, was it Slick? Me, Slick, Uncharted Wind was playing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Johan, and I think maybe Silhouette Lights.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
we
have the
went.
screen cards, the scorecards somewhere.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I have like massive folders of Uncharted screenshots. I'd be
Yeah.
scrolling for days.
Toxic. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
so
we
if
all
you're
did it.
listening out there, you're probably in my phone somewhere.
Yeah,
No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
Oh my
exposed,
god.
blackmail.
Yeah. But no, that's awesome. Ranking them number 10. Like they are a very good team. I think they would be an
Yeah,
honorable mention for sure.
definitely.
Yeah. Got to shout out the teammates. Um. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Who wants to go next?
So my number 10 is actually We Us. No, I'm just
Interesting.
kidding. No.
I was gonna say, wow, hot take, but okay.
No. They were awful. Um
Yeah.
Just missed my
but
list.
no, seriously. Yeah. You're like, actually, Monster, you're off the podcast. No.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
you're
Uh
no, that's not.
no, number 10, I have Epic.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Interesting.
I mean, the reason, obviously you guys are phenomenal players, but I consider you and Wesley to be really good friends of mine. I mean, we formulated our own team
Yeah,
in 2019. So,
of
like,
course.
I think you guys were comprised of just really talented people, really cool people.
Hmm.
And I mean, yeah, you guys, when we played against each other, like, that's kind of how my list is stacked. There's nostalgia, and then there's people I played against, and
Yeah.
Uh, I think you guys are one of the teams that were like, all right, well, there is potential to lose here, so we
Yeah,
had
for sure.
to take it a little more seriously.
Yeah, than just a random smack squad. Yeah, no, that's very fair. That's
Yeah,
very fair.
yeah. So that's you guys. My number 10, Epic.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. Epic. So
Uh,
I mean, I'll just say Epic was like really close to my honorable mentions. They're like my like somewhere between like my 15 to 17 probably. Um,
okay.
I think the only reason I didn't include them is because I always felt like there were always like two or three really good players. Um, but I always felt like the roster changed up like just enough that there was always like one or two people who were like, okay, they're like all right, like I respect them, like,
Yeah,
and it was
yes.
just was never like a great like top to bottom like team for me. Like even if like there are some players who are like Wheezy, like no offense to my guys, but Wheezy's probably better than anyone who played for GSR. But I feel like top to bottom, I feel like GSR was I consider more solid. Um,
Okay,
and
that's
Yeah.
fair.
but yeah, Epic really good, especially Wheezy, Silhouette Lights. Yeah,
The man
and
himself
yeah,
in
right now,
the podcast right now.
yeah, absolutely.
That's yeah. Silhouette was mostly a helper, but yeah,
Mm,
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it was like Rock Bottom, Ace,
yeah, price
Invictus,
tag.
which was that Ramos?
Ramos, yeah, Ramos,
Yeah,
Cephii,
yeah,
fucking
Yeah, price tag.
price tag,
Yeah,
Sal, um,
yeah.
yeah.
Jagark. Um,
Sal was underrated, man. He was pretty good.
he was very good individually,
Yeah,
but you put him in a 5v5 setting, and uh, he had some
Mm,
duds. He had some duds.
yeah,
A lot of duds. Love the guy, super cool dude, but was not the best 5v5 player for sure. 1v1 though, holy shit, he'll give anybody a run for their money. But
yeah. He was good. He was good.
yeah,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I
A-
just feel like if
anything else on Epic?
a few of those players, if they reach that next level, like just took a step up, like some of their players, like
Yeah.
I know you
Hmm.
consider like rock bottom, like you rate him super highly, but I always thought he was just like another like pretty good player, like definitely like no shade or anything, but it's like when I think of
Yeah.
when we're getting to top 10 teams, it's like I probably don't consider him as like, oh yeah, that's like a core member of like top team of all time, because that's
Yeah.
just like another level. And I feel like I can put Wheezy there for sure. I feel like Silhouette deserves some respect like that. I feel like you for sure. Um, but yeah, there's some players who are just like, okay, these are just like good comp players, just good players, you know.
Yeah.
I
That's
feel
fair.
like towards the end of Epic, Rock, he was playing on Mirage. I think he
Yes.
really got
He
better.
got a lot, but okay,
Yes. Yes.
Like,
And that's what I was saying in our top 10 players list. I fully agree with that.
yeah, so from the
gotcha.
beginning of Epic to the end of Epic, it was a transformation. Like
Mm-hmm.
he
Definitely.
he really like stood out.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I totally agree with that. Like when I first joined, like Rock was probably like just a mid tier, like definitely below me and Wheezy, but it was probably better than like Price Tag and Sal. But like right before Uncharted 4 came out, like man's really got fucking better, and he was like doing just as well as me and Wheezy, if not better in some matches. So he really got a lot better towards like the end of 2015, early 2016.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't disagree with that for sure. Despite the fact that I'm just now learning that Mirage is rock bottom, which changes things for me a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. He
I
was
think
also
I
on Devils, D_evils, the
Oh,
Evils,
okay,
Devils.
yeah.
I
gotcha.
don't, he played on that for a while, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think I heard your mind blow when I said that.
I was
You
like,
like stuttered for a second. Oh,
Right?
yeah, no, but yeah, Mirage, I definitely super respect that. So yeah, that does change
Oh, okay.
my opinion
I didn't
on
know
rock
you didn't
bottom a
know
little bit.
that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I would have said that when we talked about it in our top 10 players list.
now he's protecting his identity, from 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
Oh my
right.
god.
Yeah, who would do that?
Yeah,
Crazy.
Oh my god.
I mean it's 2025, guys. If you're still
Yeah,
hiding your identity,
it's kind of weird.
yeah, I'm not look,
Anyway.
not naming names, but you know who you are.
Ooh.
Literally.
All right, but
Anyway,
PWA.
yeah, my number 10 is PWA. They are probably the only team on record, which is probably the only team ever to get positive in a best 2 out of 3 series. Granted, get positive didn't have their top 5 lineup. I believe the champ was in there instead of I want to say like Lock On or Bunny or something.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, like there are very, very few recorded get positive losses in history. So the fact to do it twice in one day is pretty crazy and respectable. And I would also, like just individually, they're skilled players. I would put them above a lot of the other teams that aren't on my list. Say which one about Mario, but Mario was great individually. And he had his moments in 5v5s too. Naruto, Doom, top three greatest players of all time, and you can run down the list of all of them, but underrated. They definitely fell apart as the later years came about, and Mario progressively did worse, and they just broke up and whatnot. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's my number 10.
So my opinion of PWA,
Oh,
see, I wasn't a player at that time. Like
yeah,
I did not come across that team. I did not play against them. I played against the individual players, like
Hmm.
in the future, but
right,
not as a solid team. So I don't have much to weigh in on that. But you saying
yeah,
that they took get positive in best 2 out of 3, I mean, that speaks for itself. Like they
right,
obviously were a solid team. Um, get positive could have had a bad day. They could have,
yeah, yeah. It happens every now and
like you said, they didn't have their
then. And they weren't
strongest
top
roster.
five. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, still, a win is a win, and I mean that's impressive in itself. Like
for sure.
so, not playing with your top five is not really an excuse because it's still members of your team.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely, I agree with that.
Yeah, like why are they on your team if you're not like confident like
Yeah,
playing with it?
Yo,
yeah,
exactly. And that was something like I even thought about like with my team. Like there was times where we didn't play with our strongest composition of players, but I was always confident in the people that were playing
of
with us.
course,
Hmm.
of course.
For sure.
So yeah,
Yeah. So
PWA number 10.
so
What
I
you got,
have
Thugs?
I'll just say I have PWA higher. The
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously like their peak roster is like fantastic and they have like s- close to the highest potential of like any team like at their best and what they were capable of, but yeah, the roster rotated so much and Mario can be
Yeah, that's
so
definitely
here or
true.
there depending on how the match goes.
Yep.
Like he can absolutely lose you games
Uh-huh.
just on his own. Um, but he could also
Definitely.
be an absolutely like destructive force on the front lines, like Wesker, like Mac, like Sergio. Like he can pop off like that.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
so yeah, there's inconsistency with the roster and the performance, but the peak is outrageously high. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on PWA.
Gotcha.
All right. Is it yeah my number nine next? Um, I have. I'm I'm curious if either of you have this. I have Ox at number nine.
Interesting. Okay.
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 I have them as an honorable mention.
So do I.
So like
So do I.
I do recognize them, but they didn't fall in my top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
So
them as an honorable mention as well.
yeah. So I'll just say Ox are really interesting because they kind of like PWA have a little bit of inconsistency where they've done like some of the most ridiculous shit that I've ever seen. I mentioned in DMs to Random that one of the cinema files that I lost with with an account that got hacked was was a match where Ox beat Get Positive on Temple while Get Positive had top control the entire match. It was like
Hmm.
yeah, and in power weapons too. And they were
Right.
so I can't remember if this was like 1.04 time when the foul was like fantastic, but they basically Get Positive could not move around in top. They had top red, top green, and Deagle, and were just picking them off anytime they tried to move. Like five. It's such an interesting team composition because they're five like foul main players. Like even 1.05 and on, a lot of their players were like super frequent with the foul and um, all good with the foul, and it's just something that I can't say about like really any other team where they are so much better when in like super slow down, super campy, like
Hmm.
debatably the best team ever at those like grind it out, just get a random pick here or there. Debatably the best team ever at that, but that's like a small like section of all that goes into like winning matches, and matches can go so many different ways. You can't always force it there, unless you're playing for it. Um, so there's a lack of versatility, and they weren't like bad in kind of more rushing, fast-paced village sanctuary kind of maps, but they were just kind of a they would be an honorable mention kind of team, like just a solid, just pretty good team. If not for like some of the ridiculous shit that I've seen them pull off just on the backs of their foul skill, and just really, I think, really smart players and great teamwork and all that. So
It's totally fair.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Like I've played against them. There's a video somewhere. Um,
you,
TDT versus Ox, and every time we've played them, it's always been, like you said, kind of a slowed down, like methodical match.
Definitely.
And they're they were just good, man. Like they were a good team. I played against maybe some would consider a watered down version of their team,
hmm
but because it was all later, you know.
Right.
But
Right.
I still played against like Cadillac and Mokosito and
Yep.
hmm
players like that, and they were really good, man. So
yeah,
I can agree with your pick.
something that's kind of interesting about that is I don't consider any of their players to be like super like elite. Like Mokosito's the only one that I consider to be like could be like an honorable mention for like best players of all time. Um, I know RaNDiM will disagree on that one, but I feel like yeah,
Yeah,
I
a
feel
little bit.
like
A
as a
little bit.
team they're so much better than than the individuals even, which is just
Definitely. No, I agree with that for sure.
yeah. So they're a super interesting team, but yeah, go ahead, Random, if you have any thoughts on them.
You guys pretty much summed it up as best that I could have said it. So yeah, I'm good.
All right,
Who's your
down
number
to
nine monster?
For my number nine, I put SOG plus,
Okay,
ooh,
that's respectable.
and I mean that might not be on your guys' list, but it's mainly for one of their best players is Abadesi,
Yes,
and he's not talked about enough. I mean, he was
I
mentioned in
agree.
your guys' best player videos, but when people
Hmm.
think of like the all time greats, they're never like his name isn't brought up quite as often as
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
others.
it definitely should be.
Yeah, but if anyone has played with or against him, they would see like he was phenomenal in
Yeah.
just
Mm-hmm.
almost every aspect. So,
Hmm.
and also SOG plus they played against OMG, in the finals of
Yeah.
Big Two
The
Cruise tournament. Like,
fact that they made it to the finals is pretty good enough, you know?
yeah, exactly. And when you think about it, like those were like the original tournaments of this game. Like
Yeah.
when I first
Hmm.
started, that's what was going on, and I was never like I my skill level wasn't at that level yet to be
Right.
able to participate in those, and I didn't know enough people, so like I was just kind of it was all just hearing about, oh man, like OMG won another tournament, but no one ever talks about who they played against, and
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
the fact of being able to get to the finals with I think Uncharted LBP7 played for them, Legend at all, uh,
Yep. Hmm.
Hamada.
Forest Track,
Yep.
yep,
Hamada. Yep.
yeah. So like those guys, they aren't like super super well known, but as a team, they did play really well, and I mean they made it to the finals against OMG, which is a team I'm sure we're all going to talk about later. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, right. But yeah, that's my number nine.
Probably.
No, I definitely think it's respectable. I totally agree that Abdizi doesn't get enough credit. He basically, hard carried them to the finals. Really fucking good player. And yeah, like just the fact, any team that makes it to the finals in a tournament is pretty damn good. Like there's very probably few instances where that happens by fluke. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it kind of speaks for themselves. They were definitely a top team back then for sure. I have them as an honorable mention.
Yeah. Yeah. SOG was my number 10 until like last minute. I swapped them for GSR just because I was like that's my teammates. um,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, there are um, yeah, SOG is really good, and they were super active and like 2011 before the tournaments and like known as like a solid team. Like they were not nobodies at all, and the first tournament wasn't like their coming out party necessarily. I mean, to like the broader community for sure, like a lot of people, that's like where they heard about him for the first time. But I think the top
Yeah.
teams around then like really respected SOG
Yeah.
and yeah,
Definitely. Especially
Abadizi,
Abadizi. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, it's just like Abadizi's a superstar player, elite player, and he had like four like really solid like supporting cast for a team, and they played well together. And yeah, definitely not. Yeah, if they had like more elite players, they could easily break through higher on this list, and probably would have been like a contender for the best team in the game. Um, but
Hmm.
for what they were yeah definitely a super respectable team, respectable opponent, and um, yeah they ran into a juggernaut in the in the finals of that first tournament. But
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
like it sucks you ran into OMG like, but yeah, it's there's no shame in
Shit
losing
happens.
to one of the
So yeah,
best.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right.
So my number nine, which might be a hot take to you guys, might also not be. I don't know, but I have 1337 as my number nine.
Oh,
Hmm?
Yeah. Um,
uh, I will say I might have them a little higher on my list.
no, that's fair. That's fair. I
Yeah.
respect that. Like
Yeah.
Doug was saying at the beginning, like some of these chains are very interchangeable. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean their resume kind of speaks for itself. Like they were around for a long time. They always were super competitive in tournaments and just regular clan battles. They always gave you a run for their money. Um, I think they even won a couple tournaments in like
Hmm.
2017, 2018 maybe. Granted, that was like when Uncharted 4 came out and a lot of teams kind of left and they were like maybe smaller tournaments, but hey, still like a tournament win is a tournament win. So that in and of itself is pretty dope. Yeah, it's a lot of good individual players, especially Wesker. You know, Wesker's fucking amazing. But yeah, they're
Oh
just
yeah.
always competitive. So I have him as number nine.
Hmm. Yeah. Go
I
ahead,
mean,
Monster.
so like I said, I might have them a little higher on mine, so I'll talk about that more like when we get to it.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I agree. I mean, their consistency is like just being a focal point in the community. Like that alone, like should put them on this list. You know,
Yeah.
they've been around, and you think about it, like they're all Brazilian too, and
Hmm.
everyone knows like we call them the Brazilians because that's them. Like you
Yeah.
know, one
Yeah.
three three seven, you know what they're capable of, and they're
Yeah.
comprised of some phenomenal players.
Hmm. And like as you said about something else earlier, like I definitely don't think you can tell the story of Uncharted 2 without mentioning 1337. So
Exactly.
definitely mad respect.
For sure. Yeah, I also have them a little bit higher. Um, I think one of the craziest things about 1337 is that they've just the consistency. I think I'm okay. Um, I can't remember if I can't remember if 1337 participated in my 2012 tournament, but certainly from the Uncharted 2 tournament 2013 until today, they've been consistently one of the top like I don't know what you say in the top handful of teams, like maybe 4 or 5, depending on like what depending on what year you're talking about specifically. They might be the second best team like in the game. Um, and yeah, I feel super bad because they've never won like one of my tournaments and like one where like all the matches are uploaded so they can get like the full credit
Damn
for it.
TDT, bro.
Yeah, but
Who's
they
that?
but certainly they have won I think multiple tournaments. I think like three different tournaments, uh, smaller tournaments when like maybe when teams are less active or whatever. But like what else are you supposed to do? You show up for a
Yeah.
tournament, you beat everyone who
Yeah, yeah. I
plays
mean
against you.
that's not
Like
their fault. It's not their
yeah,
fault. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely not. So they're um yeah, they're somewhere in between. Like they're like sandwiched in between the like GSR and Epic, like really good teams of like the newer era, and like
Hmm.
the elite absolute top tier. I think they're like firmly in between tiers, almost like their own kind of middle tier where they're close and can put up a fight with like the best of the best, but they're just not quite in the highest echelon for me.
Fair enough.
All right. I guess I should have just mentioned it since it's my turn now. But 1337 is my number 8. I've already
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I just like realized that I was like, all right, moving on to my number 8. Well, 1337.
Nice
That just
transition.
everything.
Yeah. um, but yeah,
That's funny.
no, I pretty much said all I have to say. I respect the hell out of those guys. They're really great guys too. Great to work with as
Yeah,
like a tournament organizer. Super respectful and um, yeah, show
definitely.
up on time, which I love. I love people who show up for their matches.
Yeah, crazy concept.
So yeah, good guys, active to this day. So honestly, like crazy. Imagine they win some more tournaments, and I could see them moving up my list.
For sure.
But yeah, Monster, your number 8.
My number 8 is G4S,
Okay, interesting.
Oh,
Interesting. I have them as
which
an
could
honorable mention.
okay. So
damn.
they were remembered at least.
Yes, I remember them mainly because I played against them in a tournament. But
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the reason, I mean, they've made my list. They have won a tournament. They won the 2012 tournament,
yeah, that's fair.
uh, hosted by Thugs. And
Against a fantastic team, like one of the best teams ever.
who'd they beat?
All right. I'm stopping the recording. Oh my
But
god.
no, like for sure, I think they deserve to be in this list. I mean, you look at their players; they're not too well known. I mean, Deadly
Yeah,
Kaio, Samir, FaZe. I mean, if
mhm,
you played in that era, you know who they are. But
definitely.
for newer generations coming, or even the previous generations, they'll probably be like, I don't know who that is.
I agree with
But
that.
I think those three were like the core players for that team,
Yeah,
and they were just consistent. They were very solid players. They were a little
yeah,
laggy, but
yeah.
uh, consistently good players. And then they added some juggernauts to their team. So they had Young Dope,
Hmm.
Yael Kun, and just those two guys right there. If you played in 2012 or 2013, phenomenal players.
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
Blinky was also on that team when I played against them in the tournament. So
Yeah, super weird.
okay, yeah,
Super weird addition
yeah,
to our team.
right.
yeah. So, like, just the composition of players, like the skill levels for half of their team was a little lower than their later additions. Like I said, Young Dope and Yawi and Blinky, as you mentioned. But
Hmm.
Hmm.
they won a tournament. I played against them in the finals of, I think it was the summer finale tournament. That
Yeah, it sounds
Thug,
right. It was one of those. Yeah, it all blends
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
one of those tournaments. Yeah.
it was
The
one of them,
2013, because there was
But
there was 5 tournaments in 2013. If you remember, there was the um,
What? That's crazy.
yeah, there was my Uncharted 2 tournament 2013. I think someone else hosted
mhm.
some random tournament. There was a Frag Nation Uncharted 2 tournament, which I think UPG
Yeah,
won. Um, or no, was that TDT again? TDT won that against UPG. That's
yeah,
what it was. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because then
yeah.
there
We
was a
beat them.
summer finale tournament, and then Team Pros tournament right after that. So like in like
Yeah,
9 months, we had 5 tournaments.
that's crazy.
I don't know about that random one that you were talking about, but
I think
I
it was
think
mine, wasn't it? Wasn't it me and Grims? Pretty sure
it
that was
could have been.
2013. I'm pretty sure that was 2013.
I
It might have been the
think so.
yeah. I
It
can't keep
was
track
an
of.
objective tournament too, right? Like you
It,
had
it was
objectives in it.
it was TDM, Plunder, and King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. So that could have been it. But
Mm,
back to what I was saying about G4S, we played against them in the finals, summer finale tournament. So not only did they win a tournament in 2012, but they made it back to the finals.
Right.
hmm
So I mean, that speaks for itself. At the time, they added Kojad to their team, and I don't
Kojet's
believe that that
Kojet.
was their. Yeah, I don't believe that that was their strongest version of G4S, but uh, definitely a great team.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I definitely think that like TDT, G4S, and probably UPG 1337 were like the big four of the post 2011 era. So, I mean, that alone
Mhm.
speaks for itself, and let alone the tournament win, like you said, like yeah, super respectable.
Mm-hmm.
They would probably be my 11 or my 11 or 12 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
G4S is an honorable mention for me. The it's super. There's just such a weird team for me because the roster changed quite a bit, and some of the players' performance like just has me scratching my head so much because like Deadly Keo and Sam Ear I think played extremely well in the 2012 finals. Like I think Deadly Keo had like a 1.4 KD in the finals, which is like insane. That's like Sergio Pro.
Right.
That's monster. That's glaucoma numbers. Um,
Hmm.
and then I don't think he like ever went positive in a tournament after that. So I'm like, who is this player? Like, what is this guy? And they're so confusing to me. But like, obviously they're a great team. But I have
Yeah.
such a hard time. It's just like G4S in my mind is just this amorphous. Like, it could be a whole like number of like 10 to 15 different players, and even the players that you're confident about like being there, like Deadly, Samir, and FaZe or Fize, however you pronounce it. Um, I don't. Their performance from match to match is like rolling a dice. Sometimes I feel like, at least in the matches I've seen. So there's it's super hard for me to figure out where I actually place them. Um, but yeah, obviously super solid, and they have like really solid individual people, like you mentioned, Ya and Young Dope. Um, I think I probably rate Kojad higher than either of you would. Um,
Well, no. So there might be a misconception with that, but I do believe
mm,
that Kojad was a phenomenal player. Like he was
yeah,
really good. I think the
I,
aura of Kojad weighs down people's opinions.
yeah. He's
Um,
like
Sure.
he can be a really bad team fit, but as an individual
Yeah.
yeah,
player, fantastic.
if you put him on a team and he had no microphone, he couldn't say anything. You'd be like, "Damn, this dude is awesome." But like when he'd start when he'd start going at the other team, it was funny, but like
Yeah.
it does ruin your your
Or
reputation a little bit.
Yeah.
and how
Well,
And
it's
locked in you
also
are. Like I feel like that's mad distracting.
yeah, it's
it
also like
it,
really
it
bad
does
to be
bring down
a
the team.
teammate to that. Like you're like instead of calling out, all the like comms are taken up by like someone screaming.
Yeah. One dude raging. Yeah.
Oh, and if anyone knows that all too well, I do,
It's
believe
you.
me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Versing one of the best teams in Uncharted history, and
Yeah.
the airwaves are dominated with screaming.
Mm-hmm.
It's really tough.
About nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a phenomenal player. Like I don't want anyone to think like you sucked or anything. No, he
Yeah.
was awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
people know who he is for a reason, and unfortunately, part of that reason was
The
his
infamy. Yeah.
yeah. But no, he was a great player, and like he did play for G4S. I think in that final of that tournament
Okay.
against UT, so against U Thugs. But
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
him and Young Dope, I believe, played. I don't think Yawi played in that one. I'm not sure, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just phenomenal player, phenomenal team, in my opinion. And if they played more consistently throughout the years, they could have definitely been like a multi-time tournament winner for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah. But yeah, multiple finals appearances is like undeniable.
Hmm.
Like you're a good fucking team. um, all right. Um, what is it? Random. Random. Your number 8.
Yes. My number eight is Epic.
Okay.
So obviously I'm a little biased. I played for the team, but hopefully my logic makes sense to y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so obviously this basically this entire list is based off of hypotheticals in one way or another for the most part because so many teams never got the chance to play against each other. So by default, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of our lists are hypotheticals. And like you said, Thugs, like Epic's main downside was that we never, ever, ever had all of our best players on the field at the same time. Like Epic's best lineup was probably Wheezy, Rock Bottom, me, Sephi, and maybe Frederick. Or yeah, or you could probably throw in Jagark in there somewhere too. We never played a single match together at the same time ever. Like when I joined Epic, like maybe within the first month or so, Frederick left. Sephi wasn't even playing anymore, and Jagark was off the team before that too. So like basically every match I played with Epic was with Price Tag and Sal, like two 1v1 players. Like our team was essentially two 1v1 players and you know three like really good clan battle guys. And despite that, we were still able to beat pretty much everybody but TDT. Like we beat 1337 in a tournament. We
Mm-hmm.
beat G4S in a tournament when Blinky was on the team, and we beat UPG. We destroyed UPG like so many different times. I have the screenshots to prove it. So just the fact that we were able to beat pretty much every team that there was in the game besides TDT with you know our B level lineup, I think that that kind of speaks for itself. But like I'm really curious to see like Epic's best lineup versus like 2019 1337. I feel like that would be a great fucking matchup, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's too late for that. But yeah, it's a
I
dream
mean,
matchup for me.
with Uncharted Reloaded, you never know.
Yeah, except I'm with Odyssey now, and that's not changing.
Well, random, I've
Knock
been
on
meaning to
wood.
talk to you about this. No.
ah.
No, I agree
Transition.
completely, man. Like Epic, they made my list. I mean, I definitely recognize great players. Like I knew firsthand how good you guys were. And I mean, at the time, like when you guys were had your team, you and I weren't so close, and me and Wesley weren't so close. Like we were
Yeah,
like friends, but we weren't like on the same
yeah,
level we
we
are
weren't tight.
now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Um, but like game recognized game basically. Like I know like you guys were really good and just never got really the opportunity to shine in like on the main stage. But
Yeah. Hmm.
seeing
We
you
definitely
guys
had our
like
fair share of duds. Like we lost to some shitty ass teams, and I'm like, how the fuck did we lose to these guys? But again, a lot of it was in part to Sal and Price Tag, and
yeah.
fucking and Darkness Love. Like cool guy, but oh my god.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. But like you can, as a player who has played for like many years, I definitely recognize who's really good, and you can also recognize who's not good. But you guys definitely
Yeah.
fell in the category of, damn, this is a really good team. And as you mentioned before, you've taken up like my team, TDT, to our limits as well. Like we took you guys very seriously.
Yeah, like in the 2013 tournament when we played against you guys in the finals, I think TDM was like 50 to like 44 or something, and I think
Hmm.
Plunder we were winning 3-0, and we were like, holy shit, we're actually gonna take a map, but then we fucking choked. You guys beat us 5-3, but just the fact that you know for a while like we were definitely staying in the match, and then again that was with fucking like fucking Price Tag and Sal. So
Right.
definitely would have been more fun with the true goat lineup, but that lineup never ever
Yeah.
got to play together. So it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And yeah, Epic would definitely be like higher up on my list if we had seen that come to fruition and we had like the
Yeah,
sample size and got to see that realized. Like I have no doubts about it that that would have been like a shoe in for like at least semifinals of any tournament. Like um, yeah, yeah, the probably. Yeah, because if I think about like Epic best lineup, I think like TDT and 1337 really are the only um, real teams that rival that after like 2013. So yeah, I think that's
That's fair. Yeah.
super fair to have it uh, to yeah consider the potential of the team as like which I guess I'll transition because my number 7 is based a lot on potential and like what they are
Hmm.
capable of, which we talked about a little bit earlier. PWA. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so PWA, I'll keep it short and sweet. It's if you have Naruto and Mario and my God, I'm even struggling to remember all the people. Like I
Farv.
know Farv, Rocco. I believe Rocco was on PWA as well.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure CJ was in there at one point too.
yes,
Freddie.
CJ, Freddie. Yeah, there's like so many people. Like again, another team with like 10 to 15 players. With like usually
Yeah.
it's not like it wasn't like a whole like community team in the sense that it was just like a random mix of those five. Like they definitely tried. Mario was always there, and they did try to keep the team together and line up consistent. But it just played out that availability with everyone didn't always like line up, and so yeah, people ended up like rotating in and out, and so it's that very hard to place them. But
Yeah.
if
For
you
sure.
put CJ, Freddy, Naruto, Mario, and Farv together,
Yeah, on a team, that's a scary fucking team.
yeah, like that's I think you could argue that for like top 3 or 4, easy.
No, I
Um,
agree with that. I agree with that.
yeah, obviously assuming that like the chemistry and like the styles match in a way that comes together
Yeah.
nicely. Um, but yeah, for however much you factor in the potential or peak like capability of the team, like PWA has very nearly the highest of any team. Um, so much talent, like absolutely abundant talent. Um, so yeah, I don't know if you guys wanted to say anything more about them, but yeah, PWA
No,
my
you
number
said it
7.
perfectly, man.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
think we covered them pretty good for Random's pick. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that killed them the most was how short-lived it was,
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure. For
Mm-hmm.
sure.
But the composition of players speak for itself. I mean, a lot of those players did just also play together on other teams. They
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
didn't fall under the same category or the same name as
Yep.
PWA.
Yeah.
But I mean, just looking at the roster, it speaks for itself. There's nothing really more to be said.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's fair. Who you got, Monster? Number 7.
My number 7 is 1337.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Gotcha. Gotcha.
9, 8, and
I
7 for
mean,
us.
yeah,
That's funny.
as we talked about, I mean, they're just a great team, man. And they've won tournaments. In 2019, we played against them in the finals. I
Yeah.
mean, they're just consistent and they're consistently at the top.
Yeah.
So anytime you play against them, I mean, me personally, you could feel your heartbeat a little bit. You're like, all right,
Definitely.
this is gonna get good because
Yeah.
they're coming out and giving 110%.
For sure.
And with players like I mentioned, like Wesker, Gwynna, Sano, I mean,
Hmm.
Borba's phenomenal. I mean, Sano, great leader. I mean, him and I had our back and forth back in the day, but I really respect him. He's a very good player, very good player.
Yeah.
And then Wesker and Gwynna, I mean, they're like the Balloom and Yowie of 1337. I mean, they're
Yep.
just great slayers, man. And also really good people. Like I've talked to them like just in private messages and stuff, and they're just really good guys. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
that's
Seffi
my
too.
pick.
Shout out to Seffi.
Yeah, 1337, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's one of those teams like you can't tell the story of Uncharted without
Without
mentioning them.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And that weighs heavy in my list anyways. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the teams that I have is just like you can't talk about it without mentioning 1337. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
they made my number 7.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, Thugs? Because I'm good.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. I guess for what it's worth, I'll also just throw in that Sano is like really fucking good right now as well. Like he's still got it. He's like one of the
Yeah.
best players that I played in the game right now. So he just doesn't lose it. Dude's so good.
Yeah.
All right. Then random your
My
number
number
seven.
7. Yep. My number 7 is Pro.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the roster speaks for itself. Fucking Maddie, Croatia, D Barker, Marchino, Camaro, so many others. Um, they were always super competitive. They were always doing really well. They came back to the game and played TDT in the finals and definitely gave them a good run for their money. And if you can give TDT a run for their money, you're pretty damn fucking good. So
Hmm.
yeah, Pro, really good team.
They're actually a little higher on mine because
Ooh.
of
Okay.
that exact reason.
Told you, Thugs. Told you. He wasn't sure
Yeah,
if you were going to have them on your list at all, and I was like, I think you will. I think you will.
so I don't I never had really any problems with Pro. I just respected the hell out of Maddie and Croatia
Yeah,
because
Mhm.
those are the two I played against the most for Team Pro. Like
For sure.
D Barker, he was there, but we never had any real interaction. But
yeah,
like the two of those two guys, they're just phenomenal players. And like honestly, I don't want to say like I think highly of myself, but I think I was in like the upper echelon of players, and those two were like equal with me, honestly.
yeah,
And it was
for
just,
Mhm.
sure.
and there were so many times they just whooped my ass, and I didn't understand like,
You're like, what am
and
I
like
doing wrong?
younger
Like,
monster at the time, yeah,
Yeah.
the ego was getting the better of me, and I'm like, why am I getting my ass kicked? But
That's awesome.
looking back now, I'm just like those guys were awesome, and they like easily. So what tournament was that? Was it? It wasn't their tournament. I think it
it was a
was
summer
your tournament,
finale when you
Thugs.
played the semifinals and they took that map on Plaza, right?
Yes, that was the best. That should have been the final, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. That was the
Yeah.
best like series of matches in that entire tournament, and I believe that's why they created their own tournament afterwards because they're like we could have beat them,
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
and
Yeah.
because that was they created their tournament directly after that one ended.
Right.
They
Yeah,
were like,
it
no,
was like
we want
2 months. Yeah.
revenge. Yeah, and like it was just intense. It was incredible. I loved every second playing against them, even though I was nervous as shit. But yeah, it was a great team, and they're like I said, they're going to be a little higher on my list. I've talked about them quite a bit just now, so I'll just
Yeah.
mention them later. But yeah, great team. I agree with you. They definitely deserve to be in top 10
Absolutely.
for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. So I have Pro as my number. Yeah, we're at number 6. Yeah, Pro's my number 6, so one spot above. Um,
That's so funny.
yeah, I
That happened
We keep
twice.
doing this. Perfect transition.
yeah.
Yep.
um, Yeah, the only thing I agree with everything that you said, Monster. Like Croatia and Maddie are especially, and the reason I put them, there's a reason I put them in my honorable mentions for top 10 players. It's like they easily could have been like up there. I consider them like same tier as Abadizi and Blinky, and easily could
I
have
agree
been
with that.
in that 9 or 10 slot for me. Um, the only the only thing that I will add, which um, really just makes me sound stupid for having them at sixth and not higher, is that in 2010, 2011, D. Barker was like unanimously their best player. Um,
Hmm.
so I think, however good you think Pro is, they're much better than that. Um, D. Barker was, again, like, D. Barker was someone that I heard about, like, when I was first getting into the game. It was like there was Die, there was Triple Wreck and Get Positive team. I heard about Pure as a team before any of the individual players. But yeah, you hear about like Sergio Pro, and then it's like then D Barker was like right up there with them. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, it would have been crazy to see what they could have done if they had that, because that was like a juggernaut big three of a team, and they also early on they had Marchino as well when he was in his prime, so that would have been
Mhm.
a freakish big four, because Marchino again is like right in the mix with Maddie, Croatia, D Barker when they were all at their best. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, the Pro. the pro you played against, they still had like really good players. Like I think it was Amelia Nost and Uncharted LBP and Reg, and that was definitely. Um, I would argue that was
Yeah,
the
that was
bet.
more their.
I would argue
I
that
think that was
was.
more the Uncharted 3 team, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
it came over. Like they
Yeah,
came back, but I mean they've all played the game, so it's not like they
Right.
never played it before. But no, I
yeah,
agree with what you're saying.
yeah. I mean,
Different version.
yeah, that's not to discredit because like Reg, Uncharted, and Emmy were great players. Like they're like super underrated at the time. Like people, anyone who thinks like, oh, that wasn't like that doesn't count. That's not like anything close to pro. They're all three of those were like really good and had like distinct roles on pro, and they played together really well. Like I think Uncharted LPP is like one of the most underrated players. Like
Yeah.
in
LVP was great.
yeah. So it's a super solid team, but like the core of Maddie and Croatia leading the charge there is still there, and you have a fantastic supporting cast. So like, it's not like it's not like so different that you can't extrapolate like how good pro is based on those matches. Like you get a good idea, and I just think they would reach that next level again if they had their core, and that's the version that I'm ranking is the D Barker, Croatia, Maddie, Marchino, and I think their fifth best was probably Camaro, but could be you could argue Cali Boy. Trying to remember who else they had in rotation there. I think there was one or two other players. Um, oh, I think
Atif.
Shrimp, yeah, Atif and Shrimp 23, I believe, was
Yeah.
also in pro. So yeah, they had a few other like really good players, but yeah, the four of Croatia, Maddie, D Barker, and Marchino is
Pretty
terrifying.
fucking stacked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's scary shit right there. Um, so yeah, that team against TDT, oh my god, best of seven, like yes please.
Crazy.
That'd be so
Yeah.
fun. That'd be so fun, dude. Oh my god. But yeah,
All right. Who you got, Monster?
for your number
Oh, for
six.
number 6, I got
Yep.
UB.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Okay.
And it's kind of like what we talked about with PWA. It's just a conglomeration of just all these great players that just kept alternating in and
Yeah.
out. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the reason I picked UB, I feel like Tice Mac was a big name in that team. Like he was like the
Absolutely.
guy.
For sure.
And Tice Mac for me is easily in my top 10 best players. Like
Yeah.
he was phenomenal. And I
Mm.
only got to play against him very little bit. Like
Yeah.
just almost in passing kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I always respected him. He was an amazing player. And they had Glory, I believe, Glory CC,
Yep. Yep.
also very good player. Matt Yoit,
Yep.
which I played against him probably more in Uncharted 4, but
Okay.
in Uncharted 2, I got the opportunity to play against him a few times, and he was also, in my opinion, like an elite player. Like he was
Oh
really,
yeah.
really good.
Totally.
Yes.
So
Also known as Miharu.
while I didn't get to, yeah, but like I didn't get the opportunity to play against UB, like my team versus their team, but you know when you're coming up in the Uncharted world and you hear people talk about teams, like that was one of the teams that I heard about, and then you see on YouTube and you're like, damn, that was a really good team.
Hmm.
So
For sure.
that's why they fall in my ranking at number 6.
My number 6 is also UV.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Monster said it perfectly. I mean, any team with Tice Mac on it is pretty fucking good. Literally everybody you mentioned is an amazing player. Like there's so many more too. Like Favre was amazing. He was arguably their leader for a certain time. Fucking Bad to the Bone was really good. Fucking
Yep.
Freddie.
yep.
Yeah.
Luigi Max was really good. Like so many good players, literally from top to bottom, are just amazing. But yeah, I think even Mario was on that team for a little bit, funny enough. But yeah, they hardly ever had a consistent lineup, but still, despite that, they were still really fucking good and amazing, and definitely in the top four best teams of that era, like without a doubt. Made it to the finals against OMG and gave them a run for their money, so that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you mention Alfred Freddie, or did I miss that?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
How could I forget Freddy? I always relate Freddy in my head to
To
Pure,
Pure,
which we'll
yeah.
obviously talk about later. Yeah, but yes,
Same.
how could I forget Freddy?
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, so yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. Like their biggest the biggest downside to the team is a little bit of inconsistency with the roster, a little bit of like players coming in and
Yeah.
out. Um, but yeah, if you get me Tice, Freddy, Matt Yoit, Glory, and Favre, um, that might be the best team in the fucking game. Like that's so crazy. There's so much talent, and yeah, it's crazy. Matt and Freddy and Tice are like some of the best slayers ever, and Glory and Favre are some of the smartest and like best communicators like in the game. Like
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
fantastic team composition, stacked with talent, and you saw not even their like best possible lineup go to the finals versus OMG, and I think two of those matches were like insanely close, like within a few kills.
Super close. Yeah. Definitely.
Easily could have been a 2-1 series going into map 4 for
Yeah.
UB.
Hmm. Definitely.
And that is absolute peak OMG. Like that is the best OMG team
Yeah.
there was, and
Absolutely.
yeah, you have one of the best players of all time in Tice Mac and Freddy, the two of the best players.
Yeah.
Then yeah, you're gonna be on the top teams list. So yeah, you'll be super good. And yeah, talent and team composition, they're higher on my list. So um, if I feel like
Okay.
talking about them more, then I will when we get there.
Sounds good. Who you got for five?
My number 5 is OMG.
Interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
controversial.
Yeah,
Hmm.
controversial indeed.
Yeah. To be clear, if we're talking about a power weapons tournament, um, then OMG is probably my number 3. Um,
Okay.
so yeah,
Okay.
they're 5. A little bit of the not. It's kind of what I mentioned about Sergio Pro, since he and Carrie are like the kind of two-headed like monster of OMG. Um,
Yeah.
where obviously Carrie's like a top tier like in-game leader and great player in his own rights, super smart dude, and Sergio's like about as good as it gets with as far as just pure slayers go. Um, but yeah, I think they have a lot of not a lot, but they're definitely a notch down when you transition to no power weapons, which I definitely weigh power weapon matches more heavily just because that's like the standard for competition at that point. I think it makes sense to have like the pseudo objective of TDM to be controlling power weapon positions. It forces movement and forces you to yeah actually be dynamic in the map and yeah I think power weapons is a better indicator of the better team. Um, but yeah, to the extent that I factor no power weapons in, I think they are still fantastic, but not as
Of
good. They don't
course.
adapt as well, and I don't think I think it'd be super interesting, like a super campy like 2009 2010 old school camp it out match OMG versus Ox. I think OMG gets absolutely fucking
Yeah.
bodied. I think they get fucking bodied.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think in that like they have no chance, but obviously that's like again, if you restrict it to that very specific set of conditions for like particular maps in a particular era with particular settings of no power weapon,
Yeah.
then they're a little bit weak. That's like that's
Right.
like all I can say about them. Like anything
Yeah.
else, yeah, you put them on Village Sanctuary, whatever, where everything's in motion. You give them power weapons to fight for positioning, and yeah,
Yep.
they're
No fly out.
insane. Arguably,
That's a fair take.
I wouldn't be mad at anyone saying they're the number one, like best team. Period. I
Of
obviously
course. Of course.
disagree, but I
Right.
if you like super prioritize like power weapon legit tournament competition, and you put them as number one, I'm like I can't be mad about that. Like I respect that. But but yeah, the my like number 1 to 5 is like airtight. Like it's so little difference between any of them. Like I think the difference for me between OMG and Pro is bigger than OMG and my number one.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
Okay.
so yeah.
Who you got, Monster? Or you want to talk about OMG? Sorry.
So OMG uh, is higher on my list.
Hmm.
Okay.
So I'll talk about them more like when we get there because I don't have too much to say, but I got some things that I'll just bring up when we get there. But so for my number 5, I have Get Positive,
Okay. Interesting. Hot take, I think.
Wow.
Go
and
ahead.
for me, I mean they have come and gone before I even came around. Yeah, they
Right.
were,
Hmm.
in my opinion, kind of like a flash in the pan, so to speak, but way before I was even around to recognize it.
Right.
And I mean, who am I? Like whatever. But just the composition of players like Triple Rec, Bioshock, um, I Lock On, Beastly Bunny.
Die.
They're
Die.
phenomenal. Bunny, but
Die.
phenomenal players.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to play against I think Triple Rec maybe one time in my entire Uncharted history between 2, 3, and 4. Like I
Yeah.
never really got to play against the guy. Bioshock, same. Like
Yep.
they
Hmm.
were basically like 1 and 2. They were always together. So I think I played against them one time. Uh,
Right.
but so for some of their other players like Pedis and Ice Cold Boxing, as some of you might know, like
Join
they
Hmm.
were
TDT.
in
Yeah.
they were in TDT. So like obviously I recognize they're an excellent team. They're a great team. They saw the potential in those guys just as I did. But I think it's lack of exposure for me to them.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then also lack of, like you don't really see them. Like I couldn't do like hardly any YouTube coverage research on them either because they're very few
Hmm.
and far between. They're not
Right.
exposed as much as other teams were.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So it's kind of just like you're hearing the tall tales and the
Yeah.
stories of like how great they were, but
There's more
I never got to
guesswork
see
you
it.
have to
Like,
do.
Yeah.
yeah, I can
Which
rely on like your guys' opinions and opinions of the people who were there, like Pedis and Ice Cold and stuff
Hmm.
uh-huh.
like that. But I definitely recognize they're a top 5 team. But for me personally, like that's kind of where they sit, is just at number 5.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now the exposure thing is definitely respectable, and I'm definitely going to talk about like how there's barely any matches on YouTube when I get to them in my list. So yeah, you're spot on with that for sure.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think, and again, we'll talk about them more when we get to them. But basically, the way, or at least part of it, because I have like played against Get Positive and have like there are cinema files that I had that never got uploaded just because they were lost. So I have a little bit
Yeah.
more of like actual just like watching their matches than just like the average person. Um, but I would say like for anyone who is like wondering like how good was this team, like consider that like Monster, you respect like Pro and OMG like a lot, and you hold them in like super high regard. So I would say
Mm-hmm.
in 2011 there was no there was no debate even between whether Pro and OMG were like competitive with Get Positive. Like they weren't even like it
Yeah.
was. There was like one, depending on like what year you're talking about. There was either like 2 or 3 other teams that were as like oh they could beat Get Positive and it wasn't Pro or OMG. So I'll just like throw that out there. That's like what informs my ranking. But certainly, if you're like
Mm-hmm.
there like are no like serious or very little serious matches to even reliably rank them on, then I think that's totally legitimate. Like that's a little bit disqualifying. It's just like where's the evidence, you know? So that's fair.
Yeah.
Right. And like for tournaments too, like they never competed. So like you can't
Never. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
rank them on that either. So like it's almost like I guess like a myth, you know? But it's not.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
obviously
It's just
happened.
word of mouth. It's just word of mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for someone like I started in 2011, so like I didn't even like get to witness that. But for
Yeah.
someone who in a position like mine, it's just hearing stories. It's just like, oh, they were amazing. And like I recognize like what they did in Uncharted 3 and I
And
recognize
four.
like the
100%.
status of
Yeah.
yeah, but I recognize the status of those players as well. But I mean, for
Yeah.
me, like I didn't get to see it with my own eyes, so
That's
it's
totally
hard for me
fair.
to
Yeah.
rank them higher than the teams that I've
Yeah.
personally taken a beating from.
Hmm.
Right.
But
Sure.
so
And
yeah,
like to put that into context, like that's exactly why I didn't have any of the pro players on my top 10 best players list because I hardly ever got to play against them. So like I said that in the video that had I got to play against them more and see their greatness, they probably definitely would have been higher on my list. So
Yeah.
that definitely checks out. I agree with your logic.
Yeah. It isn't necessarily that you think they're worse. It's that they're like there's a confidence interval that you don't have with other teams where you have experience and you know, okay, I know how good these people are. Whereas like Get Positive, based on the stories, could be anywhere in a range of like rankings, but you don't have the concrete, you know, evidence to really say for yourself. So yeah,
hmm
I respect it. I don't hate it. All right. So then, yeah, we could talk more about Get Positive because I know I have
Let
them
me get there.
higher,
Yeah.
and yeah, Random
So
as
do
well.
I.
So, what Random? You're number 5.
Yes. My number 5 is Odyssey.
Oh,
you know
Yeah.
what's hilarious? I
What?
never even put us on the list, bro.
Oh, you're killing me, monster. What the fuck?
wait, I did.
Edit it right now. Edit it right now.
I didn't either.
Oh my god, y'all suck. Y'all
oh,
fucking
in
suck.
in my mind, like I did not even consider it, and it maybe because it was like maybe because it was more recent, like it was 2019. But
Right.
my brain completely just went back in time. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
2019, 6 years ago, but
yeah. Right.
it
Yeah,
went like 10 years ago.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Thinking
that's
like 20,
amazing.
2011 to 2016, kind of.
Right.
All
Oh my
right,
gosh.
so I'm gonna re-rank. 5.5 is
Hmm.
all right, but
So,
go
so,
ahead. That's hilarious.
yeah, I mean, we were just super fucking smart. Like we had so many strategies for so many different scenarios. We had take strategies, we had retake strategies, we had spawn control strategies, and like we developed it, I feel like a lot more than a lot of teams did. Like if you watch those commentaries where we were talking about the matches like fresh after they just happened, you know, we explained everything in detail of what we did. And like we even mentioned that like a lot of teams, you know, barring maybe a couple like the 1337, the TDTs of the world, they didn't even have retake strategies. They kind of just wung it, you know. But we had like it was pretty much broken down in depth like what we were gonna do, and we had a plan B if something went wrong, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously we have Monster1215 on the fucking team. We have Vazna on the team. Fucking
Mm.
Khan, Wheezy, me. Like it was just a great lineup. And like I didn't talk about OMG because they're my number 4, which is you know next on the list. But low key, I think we could give OMG a run for their money. I don't know, like I'm not gonna say we would have beaten them, you know, because you know it's hypothetical and all that, blah blah blah. But I definitely think they would have been really good in competitive matches. The only reason I put OMG higher is because they won a bunch of they won more tournaments than we did. But you know if that changes with Reloaded, who knows? Maybe I'd bump Odyssey up a little bit. But yeah, Odyssey, great team.
So contributing to your point about versus OMG,
Yeah,
if we played the version of OMG that I got to play, I think we for sure would have won.
bet. All
Like
right. Yeah.
without a doubt.
Okay.
Bosna, like back in the day, I didn't really play with Bosna or against them too much. Like
I didn't either.
I knew I knew who Beastly Bosma was, but he wasn't like on the radar.
I
Yeah,
knew him as
agreed.
Bosna Snipes.
But
Yeah.
dude, like 2019 Bosma, it might be one of the greatest players I've ever seen. Like
Yeah,
I'm
facts,
not,
man. I totally agree with
and
that.
that's not me just inflating his ego because it's big enough, but I love the guy. I love the guy to death, man, and he's a phenomenal player. He really is.
Yeah.
And then you got Khan, who's,
Mm-hmm.
as you guys know, like Ryuga or
Raise.
Rayceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The real one.
he, yeah, he's insane. Like he's
Yeah.
just like mentally and his ability. Like he's crazy, but he is a phenomenal player as well. Like, and then we have Wesley, who's like we've talked about, or you guys talked about,
Yeah.
arguably the best anchor in the history of Uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And
for
one of the best
sure.
foul players.
Yeah, no, like for sure, like bar none. Like if there was, like if I could hand select like the best team, he would be in the back line for sure.
Yeah, I
Just
agree with that.
because he, like you said, the intelligence factor. It's just everyone on the team was on the same like wavelength
Yep,
with
for sure.
setting everything up. Like Thugs, I don't know if like you remember or like if we went over it, but there was certain matches like we would anticipate losing control. And like
Mm-hmm.
we even practice this. We would anticipate losing control just to practice like retake strategies,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
we would purposely block spawns to
Uh,
force.
don't give away our secrets. Don't give away our secrets.
You think anyone in
I'm kidding,
2025
bro.
doesn't
I'm
know
kidding. I'm
about this
kidding. I'm
by
kidding.
now?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I think a lot of teams don't. But anyway, go ahead.
I mean, you
I'm
can
kidding.
cut this out, but
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
we would try to force spawns
Mm-hmm.
like to certain areas of the map
Yeah.
and wait it out, and then always go for like a sink shot to eliminate anyone who could be like a potential hazard for that person. You know what I'm saying? Like we thought a lot deeper than just you here, you there, you here, and then
Yeah.
just watch a hallway or watch a doorway.
All
Mm-hmm.
right.
And there was always a constant rotation of who's getting the power weapon. We had the times down. Like we knew exactly when it was spawning
Mm-hmm.
from the time the person picked it up, not just from the time like it's supposed to respawn. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we would call that out. It was just Odyssey is one of those teams. Like I'm ashamed I did not put it on the list because it was definitely one of the best teams I've ever been a part of, and I think honestly we can go toe to toe with any of the teams on the top 10 list.
Yeah, I agree. I really do.
Got you. I got you. Yeah. I honestly, it didn't even occur to me. Um, um, and
Well, we're ruining the credibility of this podcast.
not not because it's undeserved, but I'll keep it for now. I will not. I'll throw you guys in as an honorable mention just because you've only seen one tournament performance and
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
the
That's fair.
longevity. So it's like it's a it's a it's a pretty good result for your first tournament. You guys, you're doing pretty good. Um, maybe I'll update my
Yeah.
list after. We'll see how I update it after the coming tournament. But yeah, you guys are definitely like one of the best teams, and I'm in my own head, I'm super curious if we could duplicate Monster and have TDT versus Odyssey. I would love to see
Yeah,
those
that would be
matches.
nice. Yeah, for sure.
Um, but yeah, so that was what your number five?
Yeah, before we move on though, real quick, Thugs, you said Odyssey would be an honorable mention, which is totally fair. Monster, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Rank Odyssey right now, real quick. You don't have to go super in depth, but like
Number
just
one,
ballpark it.
uh
probably to like what, two or three, top three,
I would say two.
two.
I would
Okay.
say
Damn.
two.
Okay. All right, bet. All right, bet.
Like I mentioned, like I think it could go toe to toe with any team on the top 10 list. Like, and
Yeah.
that's not just me inflating myself. Take me out of it. Like, replace me with somebody else. But just
Right.
the sheer intelligence of the team that we were on,
Yeah.
and that alone, like that wins matches, man. Like it really
Yeah,
does. Like
for sure.
I know for TDT, like we also stood out because of that factor. Like
Hmm.
a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, Balloon was laggy." They don't contribute the fact how smart that guy was in the game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He was incredibly smart. His gameplay was phenomenal. Yes, he did lag, but like
A little bit.
when you got a composition of
Just a tad.
me, Loom, and Glock, the three of us were just that was it's just a crazy composition of players. And then
Yeah.
to add like
Hmm.
Slick was there. He's also not talked about enough. I mean,
Yeah,
Hmm.
I agree.
one of the best like bow players. Like he was one of those players that could
Yes.
literally he would choose that over an AK. Like
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always
he
thought he
would
was
take
one of the
anyone
best
on with a
foul players
foul.
I ever played against.
Yep. With the foul, the pistol, like any of those like super accurate weapons, he was
Hmm.
insane. And like he just one of the coolest guys too. And then like our fifth was always kind of rotational. Like that was our
Yeah.
main four.
Hmm.
But like we had Johan, we had
Johan.
Yaoi, we had Ice Cold Boxing, Pedis, we had
Peters. Yeah.
Silhouette Lights. It's just insane to think about that team and how smart they were too. But Odyssey is just it reminds me so much of it, like how much all of us just knew the game, and I think that's why
Yeah.
we got along so well, and it was so easy to like form this team because
Yeah.
we were all just on the same page. Like we all wanted the
Yeah.
same things.
Yep. And
So
like we meshed together so well despite so little playtime with each other. Like I'm pretty sure like we probably practiced for that tournament maybe like what 2 months, if even that,
yeah,
and
yep,
we were still able to get as good as we were just off of 2 months of playing together. So
hmm
All right.
yep.
anyway,
Um,
number
So
four,
yeah,
Thugs.
number two for Mark
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
bet.
my
with
number,
an asterisk, but
yeah, my number four. I'll keep it quick since we already kind of went over it. I have UB at number four. I
Okay,
think
gotcha.
okay.
I factor in that the what is it? The Big Two Cruise Final Redemption. That's what it's called, right? Final Redemption tournament.
Yeah.
Um, I factor
Mm-hmm.
that in a lot. The performance, not only against OMG in the finals, where again they were like so close to just being up 2-1, um, and they had not bad players in Luigi Max and Bad to the Bone, like really solid players, but one of those could have been Freddy. One of those could have
Yeah.
been Favre. I
Yeah,
think
literally.
I think just plug in Freddy. I think OMG loses that. Like certainly the two
Yeah.
close matches.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think yeah, you just have to do a little bit of guesswork. I think they still probably lose Trainwreck. I think that was like 12 to 15 ish kill difference. I think UB had like
Right.
36, 37, 38, something like that. Um, so yeah, I don't I'm not gonna say Freddy's gonna swing the game by 12 kills. Um, but yeah, Sanctuary and Temple, I think absolutely they win Temple. Freddy is fantastic at holding Catwalk and defending the top, like absolute
Right.
fucking laser. Um, and yeah, I think they win Sanctuary too. Sanctuary was like 2 or 3 kills or something difference. Um, yeah, if you replace one of your worst two players with debatably your best player, I think that could swing a couple kills. Um,
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
For sure.
so I think alternate universe, Freddy subs in, and we're talking about UB as the first team to upset OMG before yours truly, Monster, did it. Um, so yeah, I think that's the only real thing I have to add, and yeah, the finals, but also how they played against Pier and I think that was in this quarterfinals actually, where they played against yeah, Naruto, Alex, Dai. I think Pedis was on that team and Lefties. Um, Interesting to see what that match is without lefties on beer, but
Yeah, literally.
but again, to win that 2-1 against Naruto Doom, um, that's that's crazy shit. Naruto and I, of all people, and um, yeah, that's crazy shit. And then to be that close to taking it off of OMG, just one Alfred Freddy away, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a very respectable take.
that's my argument for UB. I think they were right up there. I consider them better than OMG, and just we didn't get to see what those matches look like. When I think it's undeniable that they are a better team with Freddy as opposed to Luigi or Bad.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to add anything or if we just want to move on to Monsters 4 since we already talked about them a little bit.
We're
Uh,
good to move
I
on. I
mean,
think we've said everything
yeah,
perfect.
we talked about UB already, so I mean, it's just one of those teams, man. Like phenomenal chemistry, phenomenal composition of players, and
Hmm.
I mean, we could talk about what ifs and stuff like that, but uh, me personally, I ranked OMG a little higher, but
Hmm.
that's just because of what you said. Like they didn't play at their full strength, and they weren't around very long, and they
Yeah.
rotated people in and out. I mean,
Hmm.
Hmm.
but still, phenomenal team.
For sure. So you're number
Who you
4,
got for
So
number
my
four,
number,
Monster?
yeah, my number four is Team Pro,
Okay,
Ooh,
gotcha, gotcha.
all right.
and it's all things that I've talked about, like
Yeah,
Maddie, Croatia. I mean, D Barker. Um, I think the only time I really played against D Barker was in that final for their own tournament, the farewell tournament.
right.
Um, but he's a great player. They had Kojad play with them. I mean, we talked about him already.
Yeah.
He's a great player. Croatia and Maddie, though, I mean, to me are the top two. Like
Hmm.
playing against them was just a great
Yeah,
time.
I think
And
I think at that time, 2013, I would for sure like D Barker was not at his level and not at Croatia and Maddie's level. Like they were definitely the two guys. Like they were fantastic.
yeah, and that could just be attributed to lack of playing too, because like I don't think he was really playing. They probably coerced him to come back, you know.
Right.
Hmm.
So at the time, Maddie and Croatia really stuck out to me, and I was just like, wow, these guys are like legit players. They were awesome.
Hmm.
So yeah, my number four pro for the reasons we all have spoke about already.
Yeah, I respect that placement entirely, for sure.
Yeah, I think they're fantastic, but I think the like what my placement is based off a lot of the best team pro team and how they performed against competition and I know for sure that UB wiped them in clan battles. I know Pier wiped them. Um, but yeah, they were everyone respected them. Everyone knew D Barker and Maddie in Croatia, and
Definitely.
they were definitely no slouches. And again, in that time, if we had act like frequent tournaments, 2010 to 2011, um, if we had like a few a year in that time, I guarantee we see pro in the semifinals or even finals of what some would argue like the most competitive for like top teams. Um, so yeah, they were right in the mix with the best like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
All right, and random year
My number
4.
four, as I already said, was OMG. I really don't need to say much because everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows that they were amazing and great. Three different tournament wins, Sergio Pro, top five player for sure. Kiriaker, no slouch by any means. So, yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
speaks for itself. I really don't need to say much. Everybody already knows.
Yeah. I will really quickly. I just want to add because it's Kerry Iker's so great as a leader and Sergio Pro himself as an individual player and a team player, like just great all around.
Yep.
Santi, Ivan, and Spalgame are fucking great players,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
they just
Very
it,
underrated.
yeah, it's just there's the shadow of Sergio Pro is like so huge, that I feel like we
Literally,
have to at
they
least
don't get
like
enough credit.
for sure they're kind of like they're like all three like the Slick Kid murders of OMG where like they're so good
Definitely,
but you just have to play against like arguably like the best player in the game. It's wild, but yeah,
literally.
they're all so good. Like one of the best like top to bottom lineups. Like there's no bad player in all of OMG. Like no one even debatably like they're all great.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want
Number
to?
three, thugs.
Oh, I was just okay. I didn't know if Monster wanted to elaborate more on
Ah,
OMG or if you want to wait until
Oh,
you get to their
they're
place.
yeah, they're a little higher, so I was gonna wait.
Okay.
sounds good.
My number three is Pure Ink.
Okay.
Um,
Ooh.
yeah. So I think there's not a whole lot of mystery, but I'll say there's one team from the old era that I think is a little bit better. Um, the the only yeah, let me think about this. How do I think Pure their best lineup is the best team in Uncharted 2 history. I think they have the highest peak,
Wow.
highest potential of any team. I think Naruto Doom, Alfred Freddy, Mac, KPT Karma, and Alex DGK. Um, I'm not trying to start anything, but good luck, TDT. Good fucking luck. I think I can't imagine like I've just never seen a roster that is that's skilled. Like you have three people who can make legitimate arguments for like they might be the best fucking player in the game. Like I wouldn't
Right.
be mad at someone thinking Freddy's the best player they ever played against, or Mac, or Naruto. And
Yeah.
by the way, like really good communication. They had really great chemistry. Like Alex can be a dick sometimes, but he's mostly just mad that he isn't. He gets mad when he isn't winning, when his team like isn't super great, or
Yeah.
at least in
Right.
his opinion. But even like you put him on that team, he's the worst player on the team. He has nothing to rage about, and he didn't on Pierre. Like he did not start shit with like Naruto and them, and their chemistry
Right.
was great. That's I got to witness that Alex and Naruto playing together, and they're basically like telekinesis, telepathy, just communicating call outs to each other. Like they they are like so in sync and play together so well, and it's um, I think the same for playing with Mac and Freddy and like there's not a whole lot of matches of them all together, but they played very frequently together. They were always in like parties of five, parties of four, like matchmaking. Like they always like rolled together and yeah, fantastic chemistry and it's just so stupidly overpowered in terms of talent that I just can't imagine Get Positive coming up with any answer to that because they would just be getting straight ripped off of any head glitch. You can't win a gunfight. I don't think Dai's the only
Yeah,
person who has a chance. Like Dai could do okay.
Right.
Everyone else, you're fucked. Like you're so fucked. But that being
Yeah.
said, the reason they're number three and not number one or two is that wasn't always the roster that they played with. They
Yeah.
are slightly worse in power weapons than they are in no power weapons, just because of how just it's all just gun skill and positioning and patience with no power weapons. But as far as I don't think they're the. I think OMG and Get Positive and TDT and Odyssey, since we mentioned them, I think all probably play smarter around power weapons and utilize them better, keep track of the times better, and I think
Yeah.
I think everyone besides Naruto, no Naruto and Mac. I think those two are the only ones who are like really on top of the power weapons and keeping track of the times and like communicating that to teammates. I think everyone else is just like um, I think I think everyone else is just focused on like the individual encounters and like where am I positioned, where are the enemies, how can I cover my teammates, just the basics of that. And not to say that they're like
Yeah.
stupid or anything. It's just they aren't thinking about like outsmarting or getting an edge on the other team. They're just like, I trust my gun skill. I can win the gunfights. I just need to find the players, and you know,
Hmm.
you know,
No, like I agree 100%, man. Like so much so that my number three is also pure.
ooh,
Um,
hell yeah,
for all the reasons that you mentioned. I mean, any team with Naruto Doom on it is gonna be a top team. Like that dude
For
is
sure.
phenomenal.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, I got pretty fortunate. He came back for a little bit and played on an account called Arbitros,
Yep.
and I got to know him pretty well. And he's a really good dude. And some may not know it, but in Uncharted 4, he was actually on TDT.
Yeah, I remember
Uh,
that.
yeah, so our team was pretty good on that game as well. But back to pure, everything you said is just accurate, man. Like just the star power, the talent level of every player is insane to even think about. So
Mm-hmm.
if they were able to consistently play with their top lineup, I don't know if there's a team out there that could have beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will just
it's a very fair
also
take.
add in a lot of people have probably seen the matches versus OMG, and this was in between Big Two Cruise 2 tournaments. So again,
Hmm.
peak OMG, and they Naruto had like a bad series by all accounts, and 3-0. There was only one close match on Village.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane. Freddy did some ridiculous shit. Tysmac had some ridiculous shit, and yeah, like I said, Naruto's usually like I think Tysmac and Freddy would tell you Naruto's the best on the team. Like I think they would have like no questions about that. And Naruto had a bad series, and still it was 3-0. Like it was,
Yeah, literally.
they made it look so fucking easy. Temple was an absolute wash. OMG tried like 3 or 4 times to break it. I don't know if they got more than one kill on any attempt to break. I think Freddy got like
Yep.
multiple like double downs and like triples just defending Catwalk. Like stupid shit. Just
I
what?
think Plaza was even worse than Temple. I think
Oh yeah,
Plaza was like a 20-25 kill difference or some shit. It was crazy.
yeah. They couldn't move. They OMG is like very aggressive and coordinated and like fantastic at breaking map control,
Uh-huh.
and they didn't even get close. Like
Yep.
it was yeah. It was bad. Village was a really close game, really good game, but
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Funny enough,
Yeah. Go ahead.
my number
Well,
three is also pure. I mean,
all right.
I don't think there's like I feel like a lot of people like if they truly know Uncharted's history would basically say the same thing. It's like the top two aren't really arguable, and then three is definitely pure. Um,
Hmm.
if you know, you know, kind of thing. I mean, you guys said everything perfectly. There's not really much more I need to elaborate on it. Like if you're making OMG one of the undeniable top five best teams ever, look fucking stupid, like you're pretty fucking good. And you know, that alone gets you top three in my book. So yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Unanimous number three. Then we'll go to number two. This is where things get really interesting. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so for my number two, I'm going get positive. Get positive is my number two.
Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
All right.
the argument over Pier and UB is actually pretty simple, but I could also make the argument for either of them over get positive. But I will. I think one thing that's pretty interesting is that on Team Pier's official like YouTube channel that they had, it says second best team in Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
Like
I was
they
gonna
aren't
mention
even
that, Thugs. You
they
stole my line.
they aren't even claiming to be the best. Like at the
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah. Like they know.
it's that shit's so funny too. But yeah, there's also like just anecdotes. Like I've obviously spoken a lot with Alex DGK. Played with him in the Uncharted 2 tournament 2012, and he insists that Get Positive was significantly better. Um, that yeah, Get Positive was the best team he ever played against, and uh, this fucking guy,
This fucking guy.
this fucking guy. Okay,
What the fuck? He smelled it out, Monster. He smelled it out. He was like, I know some
I know,
fucking bullshit's going on
dude.
in here.
I am in some trouble right now.
surprise
We'll
guest
see what I'm
bubble,
talking about.
surprise guest
He
bubble.
Why
said,
We'll
did
I
you
let it
know.
ride.
motherfuckers mention my name?
Oh my god. Okay, so, but yeah, basically, short and sweet of it is Get Positive beat everyone, except PWA question mark. Um, I don't actually
They
know all
definitely
the.
beat PWA at other
Oh
times.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely at other times. As far as total series goes, probably 10-1
yeah,
in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, they
mm,
did lose that one series.
yeah. It's interesting too because Get Positive doesn't have the most. They don't have the most stacked team. I don't think. I don't. I think
Yeah,
Dice.
individually. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, Dice the only one I consider like top five elite. Everyone else, I think is like maybe in like my maybe teens, 20s, 30s, depending on who we're talking
Yeah,
about, and
I agree with that.
including if we're including like subs like I the Champ or Eugenides or but yeah, the core five that basically when Triple Rex says Get Positive is undefeated, what he means is that specific core five. So
Yeah,
yeah, which
and
is
unrivaled.
yeah is a little bit
Yeah.
silly because again, as we mentioned, like if they're on your team, like if you don't trust them, you don't consider that your team. Why are they on the fucking team then?
Right.
Like dude, these
No,
matches
Yeah,
I
don't
you
agree
count.
with
should
that.
be
I agree
held.
with that.
Yeah.
You should be held to the same standard. Like if
Mhm.
you're on the team, then you're on the team. You can't be like, oh well, that's not our best team. Like you
Yeah.
beat a weaker version. Like, well, then you shouldn't have had the match with
Yeah. It's
that
also like okay, the
with that person.
PWA match. Did PWA have all of their five? Did they have CJ Naruto, Freddy, Farv, and Mario? Like you're 9 times
Right.
out of 10, there's one or two subs.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
that just
That's true.
happens. Like
Yeah.
you can't count every win that you play against their subs and discredit every loss that you take with yours.
Yeah.
Like it's a
Right.
little bit silly, but and then there's also things like they would only play power weapon clan battles as far as
That's
I
true.
know. So
Yeah. No, that's
which
true.
which is fair in the sense that like again, I've mentioned before that I think power weapons are a better test of like a team just because it forces the movement. It forces you to fight for certain positions and you can't just basically just wait it out and insist on the team's like impatience and it's just the you go into matchmaking the game's power weapons like those are the settings that's what the game was designed around and there's obvious reasons for that as you can see 20 plus minute matches in power weapons regularly um, and yeah so as correct as they are I think in saying that power weapon is the better way to go for competitive the reality is not I mean, basically no teams practiced it and like planned for that, which is a little bit on them. Like if you know you're playing Get Positive, like you should probably have your shit figured out and have a good idea of what you want to do. But it's again the experience that Get Positive has always playing power weapons as opposed to 90+% of matches and practice that teams had at the time being no power weapons. They had definitely a strategic advantage there. Um, I think early on they also played Plunder. I'm not sure if they did other objective modes, but a lot of their clan battles were
They did.
TDM and Plunder. Um,
They did
so,
other modes too. King of the Hill and
mm,
Turf War.
yeah. So they were very much like, we are kind of setting the standard. This is what we want the competitive match to be. And despite the fact that no one else was like seriously practicing that after I think after game battles shut down, because I think there were objective modes on game battles, but
It was.
They just had such an advantage, and they were all super smart players. I would argue that Uncharted 2 was Get Positive's best game. Uh, I I think
Definitely.
that
Probably.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Definitely where they were most known, I think.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, they made a name for themselves in Uncharted 3 and 4. Like they
Definitely.
were obviously recognized, but that was because of their initial team in Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
they also didn't have the same like wow
Lineup.
factor. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, I'm saying
That
like
too.
in Uncharted 3, like they
Yeah.
did drop some maps. Like
Hmm.
they weren't they weren't undeniably the best team at that point. They were like another like top 5 team, but still they weren't like they didn't have that aura of being like the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely after some time. I think
Yeah.
the aura
There was
was
a
there for the first Big Two Crew tournament where they won, and I
mhm.
don't think they dropped a map in that tournament. I could be wrong, but or maybe one map. I don't know, but yeah, like definitely after that though, they definitely fell apart for sure. For sure.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like you noticed a chink in the armor when all that drama went down, like with
Yeah,
Big Two
Hmm.
Crew,
yep.
and then that was the demise. Like they just were never the same, and then people just started dropping out, and then they just
Hmm.
weren't get positive anymore. It was different, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I think
Hmm.
it's
But
I.
For
I
sure.
do agree.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I do agree. Like Uncharted 2, like I mean, they're in my top 5. Like
Yeah.
as I
Hmm.
mentioned before, like I don't have a huge sample size to like understand like how good they were,
Yeah.
but just hearing the
Nobody does really.
stories and then like obviously I had PDIS on my team. He's told me he's like no, like Jet Positive was like legit like one of the best teams.
Hmm.
Um, and then Ice Cold Boxing, who's a really good friend of mine, like we still talk to this day.
Hmm.
Um, he's a phenomenal player, and I trust his opinion. And he'd tell me like no, like Jet Positive was like really good.
Hmm.
Um, so it's just kind of like the word of mouth factor. Um,
Hmm.
but hearing you guys talk about it, maybe they could be a little higher on my list, but I'm just kind of set in stone where I'm at.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, for me, it's just like I'm not gonna argue with like of all the top teams. Like you ask Pro, best team in the game, get positive. Ask Pure, get positive. SUB, get positive.
Yeah.
Like
Everybody. Yeah.
yeah, we us. Um,
Yeah. Literally,
Circling
bro.
back.
Literally.
um, but yeah, I will just throw in like there is, again there's not a lot of evidence, not a lot of like recorded matches for like us to like verify like oh yeah that's totally true. It's not just word of mouth. Like we have it. We have the evidence. There's a little bit out there, but not as much as many other teams. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, there is that little bit, and then I think like I'm curious. I bet we see some chinks in the armor for Get Positive if they continue to play and teams get more consistent with like playing power weapons. We have power weapon tournaments and they have to prove themselves when everyone is practicing and strategizing for
Yeah.
this and get their reps in. I think they lose some maps, maybe even a series against some of the best of the best. I think maybe Pure with enough practice could do it. UB could, OMG could.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, as it stands for what they did and their place in the community, like they are, I think, unanimously the best old era team, and
Set the
and
standard.
hmm
Yeah, for sure. I
yeah,
don't think that the power weapon argument holds up that much, only because like both Big Two Crew tournaments were power weapons, and that factor was obviously announced prior. So like
hmm
teams were definitely aware that they needed to play power weapons versus get positive in the Big Two Crew tournament. So
yeah.
like people
I'm
knew if
yeah.
they
I'm
choose not to,
thinking.
that's not really at the fault of get positive. But
Yeah, I'm thinking like
yeah,
2010 specifically, like when they were most
okay,
active, and
yeah,
or even early
fair
2011.
enough.
But yeah, they were
Yeah,
kind of
fair
on their
enough.
way out by the time Big Two Crew jumped
Right.
in. But yeah, anything you guys want to say about Get Positive, or do you want to move on to your number twos?
Um, I'll let Monster talk about his number two, and then I'll get to get to mine.
Okay,
Okay. So my number 2, I put OMG,
MG.
Fair.
and
Fair.
I know you guys don't particularly like agree. They're a
Yeah.
little lower on your guys' list, and
Uh-huh.
that's perfectly fine. And I can even like agree, like I sympathize with you. But for
Yeah.
me, starting out playing, that was the team. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like
Yeah.
they won the back-to-back Big Two crew tournaments. Everyone was like, "No, OMG, OMG this, OMG that." They really revolutionized the whole like YouTube side. Also,
Mm-hmm.
like between Santi's edits and just being like covered on YouTube, and Little Monster was like aspiring to eventually be
Yeah.
something like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Of
I was
course.
just like, all right, these guys are like famous, basically. They're
Yeah.
like celebrities.
Yeah.
And I was like, I
Still to
want
this
that.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want that. I want to be that. I am gonna be that.
Yeah.
And that's why to me, they're number two. Just overall skill level, yeah, they were great. Like there's no arguing that. They were amazing players, an amazing team. Like the chemistry was undeniable. But for me, it was kind of like that, like they were like almost kind of like heroes for like
Yeah.
my generation. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like looking at them, you're like, damn, like I want that. Like I want to be in that level.
Mm-hmm.
So like in 2013, when I got the chance to play against them in a tournament final, it was kind of like meeting your heroes. Kind of like
Literally. Yeah.
it was like, oh my
It's
god,
awesome.
like literally OMG, like here I am. Like I'm playing against these guys. I've
The
been
aura.
watching. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been watching these guys for like 2 years. Like never got the chance to like play them. I all I do is hear about how great they were, and all of a sudden like they're right in front of me, and it was really like a special moment for me. Like I remember because our last map was Ice Cave of all maps. um I remember,
Wonder what dumbass decided that.
yeah, thugs, no. But
Just kidding. I love you.
I remember that Ice Cave was our final map, and like Glaucoma just being who he was, like really carried us through that final because he was just amazing, man. And then Kojad's getting the last couple of kills, and that feeling, you look at the scoreboard and you see like the kills just like adding up, and then you see like
Uh-huh.
the kill feed and it's all just green, green,
Yeah.
green, and you're like, oh my god, this is happening, like I'm about to win.
Yeah, dude,
And
that sounds wild. I never even
dude,
thought of it like that.
I can take myself back to that moment sitting in my bedroom, like so laser focused on what's going
Hmm.
on, and just watching and just waiting, and those few seconds right before like the scoreboard comes up, and it was I don't, I can't really compare it to anything because it was like my first like major tournament win. I mean,
Right.
I won with Two Fly, I think, like some one-off tournament that doesn't even really matter. But that
Yeah.
was the one that like I was like, oh my god, like we just beat OMG in a tournament, which no one's done.
Yeah.
Like
No, that's definitely true.
nobody had done up to that point. And just their star power, and uh just like I've said the word a few times during this podcast, but the aura of them was so immense that being able to play against them and eventually win that tournament, it was incredible. And so like the one and two positions on my list are definitively locked in just because of that. Like I I would not be like the player I was or have the team that I had without them, because that's who I looked up to.
Yeah. That makes
So,
perfect sense.
and like Kerry Eicher, like you guys said that Sergio Pro and Kerry Eicher are like the two-headed monster of the team. I looked up to Kerry Eicher so much because he was the leader of that team. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I wanted
Yep.
to like I wanted the opinion of me to be similar to that.
Right.
So like I wasn't going to be the Sergio Pro. Like was he better than me? Probably. Like but I wanted to be the guy like who was holding it all together, and
Mm-hmm.
I just respect them so much. So yeah, that's why they're my number two.
Yeah. I would never argue with a number two placement for OMG ever.
Yeah, that's super fair. And again, like I have them number 5, but like the distance between 5 and 1 for me is like a hair. Like it's that's like one like block of like all deserve to be like tier 1. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I,
It's really a roll of the dice, like with those teams, though. Like
hmm
on any day, anyone could beat each other.
yeah, it could be the
Yeah,
So
difference
that's
like,
true.
between
That's
like
true.
one sub in, one sub out, one like different map choice could be the difference. Like crazy.
it could it could be the amount of sleep a player had the night before.
hmm
Like
Yeah, literally.
it's really it's really that close.
Yep,
Yeah,
I totally agree with all that.
absolutely.
So random. What's your number two?
I cheated. I don't have a number two. I have a
Oh,
tie for 1 and 1. A 1 and 1
Ew.
oh.
B. I literally
Ew.
couldn't decide, man. I couldn't. Stop
Boo.
it, stop it. Hey, no, I'm booing y'all, and you already know why, but I won't say anything because Bosna's here and he's gonna fucking kill Monster. But
Oh my god.
we each had our own movements. Okay, okay. We're all even now. Anyway,
This
um,
guy's just sitting in the chat on mute. He's just like with a
No,
baseball bat in his
I'm
hand,
just listening.
ready.
I'm just listening.
He's ready to bust my kneecaps for what transpired.
Can I just say one thing about OMG?
Go for it.
Yeah.
sure.
Well, they won the first B2K tournament. They won the second B2K tournament.
Uh-huh.
They they won the 2012 No Power
Yep.
Pit tournament, hosted
Mhm.
by ThuggzBunney,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and they made it to the finals of the 2013 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I mean, they have, in my opinion, they have to be like the best old school team there is,
That's a fair
just
take.
because of the sheer amount of tournament wins and final appearances. Like,
That's
They
totally a
they
fair take.
definitely showed up where it matters. You know.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I feel like it's hard. It's tough to beat like 3 finals wins and 1 final appearance in 4 years. So
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty tough to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
For anyone listening, this is Beastly Bosna, Jay Bosna. He's
Yeah.
probably gonna be our episode 4 guest. So a little
All
little
right.
little preview.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I can't argue with that. Like I'm never gonna. Someone tells me OMG is even their number 1 team of all time. I'm not gasping at that. Like I'm like okay, yeah. Like
Me neither. Yeah,
I can
it's
make the
totally
argument
fair.
for them number 1 myself. Like they're fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm excited for Randy's tie. I mean,
What's your
Yeah.
all right? Do
Yeah.
your 1B since that's basically number two.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna talk about Get Positive because that's because we were just on that topic. But again, really, I can't interchange them. But on the note of Get Positive, like it is absolutely a crime that there is so few matches of them playing on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you think about it, like to me, there's a reason for that. Like the way I look at it is that like Monster, when you were saying that, like, when you were fresh off the game, you were hearing all the stories about OMG and whatnot, and you wanted to become that, like you wanted to grow into, the famous revered status that OMG had. Like
Hmm.
Get Positive had that, like from the get-go, like from the jump. So like while you may have been, I'm obviously this wasn't your only reason to do it, but like while you may have been motivated to upload videos to, like, get TDT's name out there and get that name up to the god tier status, like
Hmm.
Get Positive was already there. Like they literally had nothing to prove to anybody because every single team, every single player in the game knew that they were the best, bar none. Like as Thugs was saying, like you ask any team from that era, they will all say Get Positive was the best. Like, and like that's even to say that Triple Rec
Besides
was a
Weas.
content creator. Yeah, fuck we us. Like Triple Rec, their leader, was a content creator. He had thousands of subscribers on YouTube, but yet he still never felt the need to upload their matches because they were just that good. Like everybody knew that they were the best. He was like, I don't even need to do this because everybody knows that we beat them, and everybody knows that that
Yeah.
we are unrivaled. Like
I
nobody
also
compares to us.
I also think that's particularly because they knew they had such a canyon like a canyonous gap between like the strategic
Yeah,
advantage. Like they were so much smarter and more established than
yeah,
like anyone. Like every spawn trap that you know was discovered by Triple Rec, Bio, that crew.
yeah.
Like
I was getting to that. No, I'm kidding.
go for it. Go.
um, so,
Village,
so,
village.
so- but so yeah, fucking so yeah, even their leader, who was a content creator, never felt the need to upload their matches because everybody just knew that they were the best. Like they felt they had absolutely nothing to prove to anyone because everybody just knew. And like uh the matches that you do see on YouTube, like, is the very few times that they ever lost. I think you can probably count maybe like 5 matches in the entirety of their career that they probably lost, and that's on YouTube. And that's because anytime like a team did manage to beat them, like they had to record it, like they had to save it, they
Mm-hmm.
had to immediately go and lock that cinema file in. Like, no, like we beat Get Positive, this is crazy, I can't wait to show people. Like any of
Mm-hmm.
the matches on YouTube of them winning was recorded and saved by somebody on the other team. Like the one that comes to mind is when they played UB, and like UB decided to save a match where they lost by like 5 kills. They thought like even getting within 5 kills of Get Positive was like, holy shit, I need to save this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was saved by CJ. It was saved by CJ. Like I don't think there's a
That's
single
crazy.
cinema out there of anyone on Get Positive saving a cinema and it being uploaded. And I just think that kind of speaks for itself. And not even to mention, like Thugs was alluding to, like they created all of the spawn traps. They created the temple spawn trap. They created the plaza spawn trap. They created blocking spawns and all that type of shit. Like they were the pioneers for so much shit. Like they were the Babe Ruths of Uncharted. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
They.
I like TDT has the pedigree. They have all the awards. Like they have all the physical evidence. But Get Positive has the pioneer, the aura, and TDT obviously has the aura. Don't get me wrong, but like they have the figurative shit. TDT has the physical shit, and that's like I just couldn't pick between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean I agree.
Speechless.
I agree with everything. It's they're they're ridiculous. It's just yeah. I don't. I legitimately I don't know what to say. Like I agree. Like they were. It was just like they just are like the best old team. Like everyone knows it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's
And
just it's
like you said about Pure, like sorry, like Pure destroyed the shit out of OMG. Like it wasn't even close. And like you said in Pure's bio, like they clearly state that they are the second best team. So like what Pure did to OMG, Get Positive did to Pure. Like I don't know. It's just so hard
yeah
to argue with that.
yeah.
Was it a
The
what?
way
Oh,
Alex
sorry.
described it, it sounds like Pierre never took a map on Get Positive.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that.
Was it a standard power weapon or no power weapons match against OMG? Like the pure versus OMG one?
The one they lost
No
was
power
no power
weapon.
weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Do we count that?
To an extent, yeah. I mean, it's a showcase of raw skill more so than it is teamwork. But
Mhm.
yeah, I
Interesting.
like if that lineup goes up against OMG with power weapons, I still think they would have won.
Oh yeah,
Like I
because
think Tice Mac would have been the difference by far.
they
Like
never
like
had
I think in the tournament they had like fucking lefties who was fucking trash,
yeah
and somebody else, I don't know, I
lefties.
forget who, but
It was lefties and Karma's good, but
oh, okay,
not
okay, yeah,
Freddy, Tice,
Wait,
RaNDiM.
right.
isn't that when lefties went like 4-20 or some shit?
Yeah, it was. I don't know what the exact
It was
score
the
was,
same
but I'm pretty
event.
sure he got
Yeah,
annihilated. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I would have been very upset if he was on my team.
and I forget what the fuck it was, but there was another like there was something else that happened in that tournament where I was like besides the whole beef that Thugs was saying in episode 1, like there was definitely a beef and that's why they
Oh,
rematched with no power weapons. But
yeah.
something else happened in that tournament where, like I forget what the fuck it was, but like Pure was like, this is bullshit, like this should not have happened. And that's another reason why the match got replayed, but I can't remember for the life of me what it was.
Well,
But
in the first tournament where Pure and OMG played in the semifinals, I think basically Alex like had like the cinemas and everything, and Sergio Pro was like flying, like skipping through the map and shotgun AKing. So Pure was like, we can't play like this. We have to change host or something, or they have to find a sub. And Alex has like the videos of all this. So Pure were just.
okay.
But LMG wouldn't back out, so they were just like grenading themselves the whole game. So they had like 70 deaths on the scoreboard because
Oh,
they're like, we're
yeah, I
not
remember
playing
that
this.
scoreboard. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, all this drama, and Big Tuker was like, no, you have to like play the match seriously or whatever. And Alex was like, okay, well, we have to like they have to find a sub or someone has to be host because like we can't play him like this. And basically Pierre just like refused to play the game after all the shotgun AKing
yeah.
and
Right,
I
and those matches counted. Yeah, 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 okay.
yeah, so OMG advanced because yeah, like Pierre, they were just like, we're this is like not negotiable, like we can't play against him right now. And yeah, that started a beef between Pierre and OMG because yeah, a lot of people just thought Pierre was just like bitching, so they're like, okay, well, let's do a clan battle then, and then yeah, just stomped them and yeah, that was the basically how those matches got played. But anyway, we are like super short on time, so Monster, if you wanna get to your top, um, I don't
My
know,
number one,
your yeah, because you already said OMG number two, so who do you got number one?
yep, I put TDT, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd
Well,
rather not sit here and just talk about like my own team. All I can say is, uh, I had just really great players throughout the whole history of TDT by my side. I mean, most notably Glock and Slick. They were the two that like were the original members of TDT, like even before I
Mm-hmm.
was, which is crazy like to think
Oh
about.
yeah, yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, I had the opportunity to join them. It eventually became something even better than it was,
Yeah, that was the best decision
and
of TDT's life, getting you on.
Yeah, literally, literally.
and then we had a couple of pickups that were just insane, like Bloom, and
Mm-hmm.
we eventually Ice Cold Boxing, and we had Silhouette Lights. Like I can just sit here and just name people all day, but yeah, it was one of the greatest teams I've ever been a part of. We achieved just an insane list of achievements. Like you could just go down the line. I feel like I mentioned about OMG, we like me personally, I looked at them and I wanted to become that, and then eventually did with this team.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have done that like if I stayed with Two Fly, if I did whatever. Um, Me joining that team was the best decision I could have ever had, and I mean, yeah, it turned into something great, and I'm just very thankful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
Mm.
sure. The TDT is also my number one. Um, basically, the difference, or not the difference. Basically, the reason that TDT is like so far above other teams of the new era is like partially just because like they played against them all and like not a lot of close matches. It was honestly like from a like tournament organization perspective, it really sucked because
Yeah.
great, they're winning again. you know um, so that that's not fun. But but yeah, it was just like what are you supposed to do? Like it's on everyone else to like to match up and provide the challenge, and no one could really. Um, there was a little bit like again there's also we talked about this a little bit in like DMs, but comparing new to old era, the fact that like a team like OMG can come back after a little bit and like resoundingly be the second best team, best challenge to TDT, the fact that Pro can come back with not their peak lineup and not playing like year round and like resoundingly be the best competition for TDT. That's like it shows two things that it's not crazy to give like Pier and UB and some other squads like the credit that their reputation warrants from 2010 and 2011, and also that TDT would be just fine in the old era too, because like
Oh yeah, absolutely.
as close as OMG got and as well as Pro played as well, like imagine like those are two, like we have them like just below pure UB, um, and like get positive. So like TDT, the worst I could say is at least like right in the mix with pure UB and maybe a step below get positive. And at best, it's like, well, TDT doesn't have a lot of competition, frankly. Like teams are just not rising to that level. And imagine if you can scrim and practice and play against Peer, UB, OMG, and that's the teams that you're practicing and playing against. Like the better your opponent is, the better your practice is, the better you're gonna be. And like I
Definitely.
yeah, I think that I think the best version of TDT is one that starts a little bit early and gets to have those reps in against the best teams, and I think there's a very good chance that Get Positive is does not have the status that we think of them having if TDT just started earlier.
Totally fair.
Well, thank you. It definitely would have been really cool to play against those teams, and like you said, your competition just makes you better.
Yeah.
Which there's definitely proof of that because like we played OMG, and then we only got better from there. Then we played Pro, and we got better from there. Like
Mm-hmm.
we seen like the level of competition out there, and just always strive to be the best. And I mean, playing against those teams, it really brought out the best in us.
Mm-hmm.
So, wishing that time travel was real and, going back to that era, I can confidently say we probably would have taken Get Plus to their limit or
Absolutely.
Get Positive.
Yeah.
Uh, could even beat them because, like, I know my guys inside and out, and something about like Glock. Glock just won't go negative. Like I don't know if how much studying you guys have, but
He's so good, dude. I,
he's unbelievable, and the brain that he has is it's crazy, man. And
mm-hmm.
then Bloom's like the Incredible Hulk, bro. Like the more angry he gets, the better he is. Like,
It's
but he
hilarious.
wasn't like one of those ragers that like are freaking out and screaming and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
like if he notices that he's getting just his ass kicked, he has this dial that he could just dial up and do even better. Like, and it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. It's crazy to witness. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's all hypotheticals here, but if we had the opportunity at our full strength, me, Glaucoma, Slick Kid Murda, Balloon, and Yaelkum versus Get Positive, it would have been a very close game.
Definitely agree.
For sure. Yeah. Um. Yeah, it's just you, random. If you want to talk about the,
Yep.
I'm assuming your one A, one B other option is.
Yes. My 1A, 1B obviously is We Us. Kidding. It's TDT, obviously. Like again, the resume speaks for itself. It's like similar how I gave Monster like the best Uncharted player ever. Like it's the same deal for TDT. The resume speaks for itself. What was it like fucking 10 or 11 tournament wins in X amount of years? Like they were always the team to beat. Everyone on the team was always amazing individually. I would totally put them up against any team in the history of Uncharted ever, and they would easily go toe to toe, if not even win. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, similar to OMG, like the aura is there. There's really not much that needs to be said. The evidence is all there. You can't talk about TDT, or you can't talk about the history of Uncharted without talking about TDT. So yeah, truly, truly one of the goats for real.
Yeah. Basically, it's like
For sure.
TDT basically has the same aura as Get Positive and can claim the same things, except we have all the receipts for TDT.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
much more evidence for sure. I agree with that. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like one team was the team to beat back then, and then TDT was the team to beat post 2011. It's just there's more receipts for one of them.
Yeah.
Like, but they were so similar in their aura and their fame or their how well they were revered and whatnot. So
Hmm.
very similar.
Yeah, and it's like you ask 1337 who's the best team in the game, TDT. You ask Epic,
Yeah,
TDT. You ask
yeah,
UT,
yeah.
TDT. Ask G4S, it's TDT.
Absolutely,
Like
absolutely.
it just
That's
is.
why they're 1A and 1B, guys. It makes sense.
Thing
All
about
right.
TDT is I wasn't even on sorry, Max. I wasn't even on Uncharted back then, and I heard about TDT and all like the tournament wins and stuff.
Hmm.
So like everyone was talking about TDT.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Like it's crazy.
Yes, sir. But yeah, I think it's about time to wrap up. So,
Yeah.
or actually, I don't know. Real quick, we don't have to talk about them too much, but just so we can get their names out there, I want to at least just
Yeah.
mention my honorable mentions. Um,
Sure.
so yeah, we mentioned some of them already, but I'll also throw out. Actually, I think the only one that wasn't mentioned was 3S3 for me. I think
Gotcha. Yeah. That's
They're
fair.
on they're on my honorable mention as well.
hell yeah.
Them and Ox.
All right.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Random, did you have any that you want to shout out or?
The only one that wasn't mentioned already was Sky.
Hmm.
Super good team. I think their only downside is that they got a super late start. But had they started earlier, then I think they definitely would have been up there in the top teams of that era. But yeah, still wanted to shout them out either way.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
All right, shout out to those guys. But yeah, we gotta wrap up. So thank you, as always, Random for joining me to do with this,
Of course, man.
and thanks to our guests, the possibly the best Uncharted 2 player of all time, the man himself, Monster1215.
Thank you both.
Hmm.
Of course, man.
Yeah,
Anytime.
thanks for joining us. And we extended the offer to Wheezy, and I'll extend it here. If you ever want to run it back and do another episode eventually, then I'd be super down.
Sure, man. I mean, this was a great time. Like, anytime that we can like get together and just talk about, the game that we all grew up loving. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd be down
for
because
sure.
I mean, it's passion at this point. There's nothing left to prove. It's
Hmm.
2025, but
Literally.
just
There is.
reminiscing with old pals. It's a great time, and thank you again for inviting me on.
Hell yeah,
Absolutely.
man.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in to Down the Irons, the Down the Irons podcast, episode 3. Episode 4, we might have this fucking guy Bosna. I think that's the plan.
Sorry for crashing the interview.
No,
Sorry.
you're good,
It's
man.
okay. It's okay. You're lucky we like you. You're about to
So,
beat Monster to a pulp afterwards.
Surprise guest.
yeah, to preface this, Bosna, literally, what is it? Not even 3 minutes before you joined, we were
Yeah.
just discussing how I forgot to add Odyssey to my top 10 list,
Oh,
and
nice.
I forgot as well. Um,
Idiots.
and
I
then
included it, Bosna. I'm a true
yeah,
member.
so
yeah.
random called it out, and I said, "Oh no way, I forgot." And then I was like, "Boston's gonna murder me for this." And then you popped up in the chat like right after we were
Literally.
talking about it, and I'm like, "Oh no!" And that's why he's like, "He's here, he's here."
Oh my god. Wait, what place did you put Odyssey in, Randy?
Gotta watch the video. No spoilers.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I put us number 5, right behind OMG. I said that if we win a couple more tournaments here going forward, I think I could definitely put us above OMG because I know for a fact that we would go toe to toe with them. But just because they won, 3 fucking tournaments, I put them just a step above us. But that could definitely change.
We would have smoked DDT, let's be honest.
Yeah, if TDT was
tell-
4 members because Monster was with us. Yeah.
Tell us about it in episode 4, okay?
Yes.
You'll have to let
Content.
us
Save
know.
the content.
No, but really, I gotta go, and I think RaNDiM, you were saying you gotta head
Yeah,
out.
I do gotta run. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, thanks
Yep.
everyone for watching. Thanks for our guests, and yeah, like and subscribe and all that fun stuff, and join the Uncharted Reloaded Discord if you haven't already. Do it. Yeah. Also
Yes.
the new foul patch. Check it out. Super
Yes. Oh, and Thugs and I are hosting a tournament in August. That link will also be in the description. Check that out. Sign up. Sign your team up. Let's go.
fun. Yes, sir. You gotta get your teams to climb up the ranks. Okay. Yeah, you can still do
$600
it.
on the line and so much ego. Yes.
Absolutely.
And maybe your team could be featured on the next top 10 list.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
In another 15 years.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, we could do like a current player thingy, like where we talk about current players, maybe.
Yeah, that's an option. That's an
That would be an
option.
idea for the next podcast, maybe.
We'll see how it goes. But, all right, y'all.
We'll talk
I gotta
about it.
run. So I'll catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.
You guys.
Deuces.